Salmon, the head coach, retiring, or Brian Salmon retiring as the head football coach for San Diego. This is his last game.
It is. We got a chance to chat with Coach Salmon a bit down on the field before the ball game, and what really stands out to you is his absolute passion, not just for the sport of football, but for what he gets to do with this team every year. He's been on the sidelines with the San Diego Enforcers since 1998. They did have a period where they were not active between 01 and 06. They missed a year or two with COVID there. But he's been on the sidelines consistently for 27 years whenever San Diego has been playing football. We'll obviously take plenty of time to talk about his career achievements throughout the broadcast today, but really just a special moment for him to enjoy as he retires from the coaching portion of his career. He will be staying involved with the board of directors of the San Diego Enforcers, though.
That's right, and you look at San Diego. Last year, 5-0 season, they lost the coin flip to go to the NPSFL championship game. They're not going to the playoffs this year, but still a proud football program out on the West Coast.
Yeah, a lot of success through the years, certainly. As you mentioned, undefeated last year, 1-2 coming into today.
And we are underway here in Naperville, Illinois. San Diego will start donning the white tops with the dark pants. And you look at Chicago, the PD Enforcers, they are in the national championship game already.
Yeah, they certainly are. It's been a great season for Chicago so far, 3-0, looking for their first undefeated season since 2021 when they went 4-0. And there was no title game played that year. But as you mentioned, they've already clinched a spot in the national championship to be played on June 21st. Their opponent will depend on the winner of the NYPD FDNY game today as well.
Yeah, that'll be played out in the Big Apple later on this evening. All right, San Diego setting up shop here. Just underway here from Naperville, Illinois, and they're going to put it up. Pressure coming, and that one intercepted.
Pat Egan, Chicago police officer with a diving interception, the strong safety who has been an impact player many times in the defense backfield for Chicago PD. Just all over that one. It looked like Matthew Deans, the quarterback, a little indecisive there when he got a lot of pressure up the middle from a really tough Chicago front. And just like that, we are 9 seconds into the game and we have our first turnover.
Boy, keys to the game. You heard about him as they talked about him. This obviously turnovers big in any football game in Chicago. Dressed in their blue tops with the white pants. Have excellent field position starting at their own 47. Just underway. And Chicago will throw. Near sideline, Ruffin with the catch. Is he in bounds? Yes.
What a beautiful pass down the sideline there from Adam Tapling to Brandon Ruffin. And we do play by NCAA rules here, and I think we'll have to see the replay in a minute. I think that may have helped him. I'm not sure if he had 2 feet in, but he certainly had one. We'll take a look at the Chicago starting offense for you. Adam Tapling, the quarterback, joined in the backfield by Bryant Speedy Piscasio. The offensive line from left to right, Jelani Edmond, Pat Gallagher, Keith Crott, Tyler Redeker, and Elon Chamberlain. The starting group out wide is Trent Yancey, Andrew Pena, Rob Cudzia, the tight end Michael Applehands. That was Brandon Ruffin who made that first catch down the sideline, who was technically not even in the starting lineup today, but an impact play right off the bat.
Now it looks like a illegal substitution will back Chicago up 5 yards.
Can't think of a much more exciting way to start the day today, Mike, than interception for the home squad on the first play of the ball game and a deep pass down the sideline on the second.
So Tapling had a nice game in Nashville earlier in the month. And they'll run it on the ground for a few. Bring up second down.
Yeah, Bryant Piscasio is certainly a player to keep an eye on there in the backfield, the starting running back. Cook County Sheriff's Office member. Slowed down for maybe a gain of 2 or 3 there on the play, but certainly you can look for him to make an impact out of the backfield for Chicago.
Well, you look at Chicago, undefeated on the season. looking to keep that unblemished mark here this afternoon. To find out if they'll play here or in New York on June 21st. Tappling to throw, has a man in the slot, completed, and that's close to a first down.
Looks like that's Andrew Pena of the Des Plaines Police Department there on the catch. And yeah, it looks like they'll have maybe a yard and a half to go. See if they give him maybe third and a long one here.
So third and short now for Chicago. San Diego arrived in the Windy City on Thursday night. And they'll head out tomorrow back to the West Coast as they are playing their season finale here this afternoon. Four receivers here on the high snap and movement up front. This will cost Chicago.
Yeah, some issues with pre-snap penalties early for Chicago, really about the only thing that has gone wrong for Chicago in the early going here. But that's a really big one. I mean, when you're talking, third and one on the 9-yard line, you got a lot you can do there in the offensive playbook. Third and 6, still options, but your defense is really much more able to play the pass here.
So San Diego going to line up a rush 4, it looks like. See what the linebackers do. They peel back in coverage. They'll keep it on the ground. And good stop made.
Yeah, Piscasio there on the carry, a gain of 5. He got it pretty much exactly back to where the spot was before the false start penalty a moment ago. So it'll be 4th and 1 on about the 9.5. And it does look like they're going to bring the kicking unit on, Mike, and attempt a field goal here. Should be about 27, 28 yards. We'll see where they spot this ball. Oh, and I stand corrected. They're going to go for it.
They're going to go for it here. 4th and short on the ground. And let's see. I don't know. I don't know if he made it.
From where I'm watching that spot, I think they're going to give it to him, Mike. It looks like maybe half a yard beyond the marker. I haven't seen. Yep, and there is the official signal. It is a first down for Chicago, so aggressive play in the early going. I like it.
Credit that offensive line, just getting enough mustard to push that pile forward. And then a big first down for Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago really strong in the trenches on both sides.
And they're going to run it to the fullback. Eating up. Boy, a bunch of guys were there to break up that play for San Diego.
Yeah, it looks like that was Ed Zubo on the tackle, but no issues right there from the San Diego front seven being able to penetrate that Chicago offensive line.
Mark the ball at the 9-yard line, 2nd and goal for Chicago. This drive off an interception, and Chicago started back at their own 47. Rolling, tappling to the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Chicago.
Rob Cudzia found himself all alone right there in the middle of the back of the end zone, right under the uprights here at Bendetti Worley Stadium. That is a great feeling there if you're Adam Tapling. And if you watch Tapling here, really able to keep the play alive with his legs. Looked at the right side first for his initial read, didn't love it, was able to come back, extend the play, move just out of the pocket. And then when he looked up, he was able to get his shoulder square. And that's the key right there. It's a little dangerous to throw back across your body like that, but Tapling was able to square his shoulders, turn around, and had all the time in the world to find Chicago police officer Rob Cudzia in the back of the end zone.
Extra point now. Kick is up, and it is good. Chicago with the opening score on a 53-yard drive. They lead at 7-0. This is the NPSFL.
Ever wonder who helps our everyday heroes when they need support? Enter fundthefirst.com, a unique crowdfunding platform dedicated to first responders, their families, and their friends. Unlike typical sites, we don't take a cut. Every dollar goes directly to those in need. Whether it's for emergency medical bills, family emergencies, or equipment, fundthefirst.com is there. It's our chance to give back to those who risk it all for us. From police officers to firefighters, these heroes deserve our support. Want to make a real impact? Check out fundthefirst.com and show our heroes that we've got their backs. It's time to support those who always support us.
And we're back in Naperville. Chicago takes an interception, and they march 53 yards for the touchdown. And they get the extra point, and they lead it early 7-0. Good return here out across the 35 to the 37-yard line for San Diego. And that return, Kevin Novick.
One of those things to keep in mind, Mike, as our viewers enjoy the commercial breaks, and I do say enjoy in this particular case. This is a very different broadcast than most, especially when it comes to commercials. Not what you'd normally see on TV. They're all businesses created or owned by first responders or specifically geared towards first responders. One of many things that's really just, it's indescribably special about this league.
Really is unique, special. These guys play for the love of the game. Coaches as well. Just a terrific league. The fullback on the ground for a couple to the 39-yard line. Like, Chicago's been really strong up front all season long, and they showcased it there.
Yeah, they are allowed 21 points. Charlotte, 25 points. NYCD boldest held FDNY to only 3 in a mud bowl in Nashville a few weeks back. We'll take a look at these starters on offense for San Diego. Matthew Deans, the quarterback, joined in the backfield by running back Steven Swikowski, commonly known as Ski. Left to right on the line, Trey Hamilton, Alan Garner, Andrew Tapia, David Rojas, and Elias Isaacs. The wide receiver group, Joaquin Jordan, Chris Calvert, Zach Fedare, and Larry Roberts.
All right, Deans from the gun. Chicago going to rush 4. Linebackers drop back in coverage. Out to the flat, complete. And across midfield for a San Diego first down. Gain of 12 on the play.
Yeah, designed rollout there for Matthew Deans, the right-handed quarterback. Once again, had to square shoulders, throw back against the direction of his momentum. But a beautiful job right there for the first down for San Diego this afternoon.
Larry Roberts on the catch. Held on to it, took a couple of big licks too.
You worked for the Border Patrol your entire life. I think you're ready for a couple of hits from the Chicago PD.
Just another day in the life, right? All right, Deans again from the gun. Chicago now going to rush. So they got 5 up there. And back to the ground of the fullback with a seam inside the 45. A gain of 9. Close to another San Diego first down.
Yeah, Steven Swikowski, certainly a fun guy to watch out of the San Diego enforcer backfield. You know, San Diego offense in particular, after that really short first possession, as you see the beautiful cut there right to left by Swikowski to pick up those extra yards. Could have been stopped for a gain of just 2 or 3, but a nice deke right there.
Gonna mark him just short, second and about a yard. But San Diego, boy, I like what they're doing here. Opening up with a pass, couple of runs. Some rhythm on this drive. Deans on the ground, the fullback again, stood up by that front.
Yeah, it looks like Carlin Ento and Jason Anguita, the 2 in there, along with linebacker Rick Richardson. Richardson, a force as a middle linebacker, Wheeling PD officer, was defensive MVP of the team in 2015 and 2017. 8 and 10 years ago, team MVP on defense, and he is still hanging around doing his thing as an explosive difference-making linebacker for Chicago.
You know what I like about this league, and Tommy, you and I have been following this league all season long, is the history that these two teams, among others, have created over the years with just some terrific players. And we're going to dive into that later on into the telecast. 3rd down and a good 2. Men in motion. Busted play, and Chicago snuffs it out.
Yeah, Yeah, I think Canton Drew there may get credit for the sack. 3 blue jerseys in the area, as we're going to have a timeout on the field. But Canton Drew, a force on defense, the defensive end, graduate of Brooks High School, so local native and Chicago Fire Department officer. One of many guys that we've really enjoyed watching on the Chicago defensive line throughout the season. It is a defensive front that you don't want to see if you're coming in from the West Coast here for San Diego.
Timeout on the field. Chicago leads at 7-0. This is the NPSFL.
Our mission is providing that support, advocacy, and awareness for organ donation. Be a forever hero, donate life is the message we want to get out there.
As an FDNY firefighter, he was a hero in life. As an organ donor, Billy Moon, also a hero in death.
FDNY firefighter Billy Moon's heart was successfully transplanted into 63-year-old Richard Grell last December.
And as his widow, Christina, processed her heartbreak and her grief, she fulfilled a promise that was made to her husband and donated his organs so others could live. 5 lives were saved in the process.
There are around 103,000 people waiting for a transplant across the country. One person can save 8 lives and improve up to 75 more. Our mission is providing that support, advocacy, and awareness for organ donation. Be a forever hero, donate life is the message we want to get out there.
As an FDNY firefighter, he was a hero in life. As an organ donor, Billy Moon, also a hero in death.
FDNY firefighter Billy Moon's heart was successfully transplanted into 63-year-old Richard Grell last December.
And as his widow, Christina, processed her heartbreak and her grief, she fulfilled a promise that was made to her husband and donated his organs so others could live. 5 lives were saved in the process.
There are around 103,000 people waiting for a transplant across the country. One person can save 8 lives and improve up to 75 more.
And let's go down on the field to our reporter, Anthony Collada.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. I'm down here on the Chicago sideline. We got the early interception from Pat Egan right off the bat that really got the Chicago offense and team rolling as we saw that opening drive touchdown, and then we see the pressure that the defense is causing with the pressure up front. And that's really something that Chicago is built on throughout this season that they're really going to use and lean on for this game. So it's going to be interesting to see how Chicago can continue to lean on their defense and really just put the pressure on San Diego.
Well, a good point he brings up. It is absolutely right. As San Diego now sets up to punt the football, they're going to have to put that pressure on, Tommy.
Yeah, they certainly are. And San Diego, after their first drive lasted only 1 possession, they're really able to put something together there, get momentum going, but they do have to punt now.
So Chicago to take over. Fund the First. FundTheFirst.com is the #1 trusted and free fundraising platform for those who serve their families and their friends. Fund the First is in the business of supporting first responders, military, and medical professionals. FundTheFirst.com. Visit them today to launch your fundraiser.
First, of course, really referencing the heart and soul of this league, that it is, it's not football players, it's first responders playing football. Gentlemen who have really, really stressful day-to-day jobs, who do so much for their local communities to support them, to defend them, get to it's a little bit of being able to blow off steam here, but it's a lot of the camaraderie that's formed especially.
So Tapling going to hand it off on the ground, turning the corner with a seam, first down and more, across the 40, bulldozes his way to the 47-yard line. Brian Pistachio with the big first down.
Yeah, Piscasio known as Speedy to all of his teammates. I think partly because he's real speedy and partly that way they don't have to try to say Piscasio, Mike. But he is an impressive force out of the backfield. A nice job there by the safety, Kevin Novick, too, to read where he was going and be able to cut off because he's the last line of defense at that point. Piscasio was one Kevin Novick away from busting that for a touchdown.
Oh, he is a tough runner. Another fresh set of downs for Chicago. Tapling with time. Rolling right. Now launches this one. Jump ball. And it's caught.
Oh my goodness. That is something that you're looking at and thinking that is trouble. His arm was hit. Tapling's arm was hit when he released the ball. And who is it? Bryant Piscasio down the sideline. The running back able to get free on the wheel route and was able, most importantly, as you watch this, Bryant Piscasio, number 2, able to adjust his route when he sees that his quarterback is in trouble. And Tapling with a nice job to get that ball in there despite the pressure. Arm was hit on the release and it popped up probably 20 feet in the air with an awkward spiral. But Piscasio with the heads-up play to haul it in downfield and avoid what could be disaster for Chicago.
Well, if you're Tapling, you're living right, because that was something the coaches, when it left his hand, they went, uh-oh.
It's not a good feeling.
From the 24, Tapling right back to the air. Bullet over the middle, has a man. And it's close to a first down.
Yeah, that's Rob Cudzie again, Chicago police officer who caught the touchdown about 15 yards further down the field 5 minutes ago. Once again, not the first read there. He wanted to go right, had nothing there. Great coverage by Archer and Calvert, the 2 San Diego cornerbacks. And a nice job by Adam Tapling to go to his second read and found Cudzie wide open.
Boy, wide open. Chicago moving pretty good here. First down and goal, deep inside the San Diego red zone. That one incomplete. It'll set up second down.
Yeah, it looked like maybe a slight miscommunication there between Tapling and Trent Yancey. Tapling tapping his chest right there. I think he thought Yancey was going to keep rolling outright. Yancey was planted in place right there on about the 12-yard line and just threw it to the left of him by about a yard or two. So it'll be second and goal now on the 8.
You know, you talked about it earlier. There is no city or agency fund for these teams. These teams are only able to compete from the support of those participating in fundraising. Really just a dynamic special league. On the ground again, they run it. Navigating his way inside the 5, into the end zone. Touchdown, Chicago.
That is Brandon Brooks on the toss left, finding his way in. Some great lead blocking right there by Chicago. And that's the first carry I believe we've seen today that has not gone to Bryant Piscasio. And Brandon Brooks taking full advantage of it. And just like that, 10.5 minutes into this ball game, Chicago up 2 scores.
13-0 Chicago as they trot on for the point after attempt. Chicago has already punched its ticket to the NPSFL championship game. That'll be played on June the 21st. San Diego coming in 1-2 on the season, but a proud program in their own right. 4 NPSFL championships. Chicago going after their second. Extra point is up and through. You're watching the NPSFL.
The most amazing person in my life.
I would definitely consider my mom as a hero.
I love and miss my mom very much. The worst day of my life was the day that my mother was murdered on July 5th, 2017. That same night in the hospital, when my brother and sister asked me who was going to take care of them after I had to break the horribly tragic news that our mother had been murdered, I said, I will take care of you.
There are over 1,000 families that need our help. Talented Towers is honoring those heroes that risk their lives by providing them with mortgage-free homes.
First responders are human too. They have fears and families that they need to come home to. For just $11 a month, you can give back to these heroes who gave up so much for you and ensure that their families will always have a home.
Please donate $11 a month by visiting tunneltotowers.org or calling 1-844-BRAVEST. Thank you.
On the return after the touchdown, nice hole down the far side, plenty of room, still dancing across midfield down to the 48-yard line. Boy, Trevon Mosley shot out of a cannon, started his journey back at the 3-yard line. The Billy Moon Foundation. Organ donation can profoundly impact not just recipients, but donors and communities as well. We strive to be that lifeline of support for those in need. Visit BillyMoonFoundation.org for more information on how you can register to become an organ donor today. San Diego sets up shop, great territory from the Chicago 49. Out to the flat, it's complete. Inside the 40, close to a first down. And again, Chris Calvert, they're calling his name a lot, Tommy.
Oh yeah, he's looked good on the outside to start this game, and I really like what San Diego's offensive coordinator, Thad Porlis, is doing right now with his offense. He knows they might be overmatched up front against the Chicago D-line, so calling a lot of pass plays to get Matthew Deans rolling out of the pocket, either left or right. And Deans, for his part, has done a great job being accurate on the run, which is a lot easier said than done sometimes.
And Deans has great confidence. His first pass was an interception, didn't stop him. He went right back and let it fly. They mark him short, 2nd and 1. The fullback with the first down inside the 35 and just plows his way down to the Chicago 29.
Yeah, it looks like that was Pat Egan on the tackle right there, and one thing you don't necessarily want if you're Aaron Chappelle in the Chicago defense is for your strong safety to be making too many tackles on run plays. Swikowski again with an explosive run. And just like that, I mean, this is what San Diego needed, Mike. I mean, you're coming halfway across the country, down 14-0 after the first 10.5 minutes of this game. You need to get something going on offense, and right now is the time.
First down, and they're at the Chicago 29. Deans again on the ground. Skakowski with a few more. Good pressure up front by Chicago. A host of guys in there, one of them being Jason Ngueta, Orland Park policeman.
Yeah, and that's where when you see that thing, you know, Swikowski, not a real big guy, but that should have been stopped for no gain right there. And Swikowski able to keep his lower body churning and moving that pile. And you're looking at 2nd and 7 now, thanks to a really bulldog run right there by Swikowski. And sometimes it's not just the 13, 14-yard runs you break off that really make a difference. Staying ahead of the change is huge here.
Chicago going to rush 4 to the air. Nothing downfield, and he's going to have that. Maybe gets across the line of scrimmage, maybe a couple, that's about it. Good pressure across the board up front and downfield.
Yeah, in terms of little things that don't show up in the box score, we talked a bit about Canton Drew on the last drive, Chicago Fire Department member. Drew never got within 3 yards right there of Matthew Deans, but he pursued him 3/4 of the way across the field, east to west. He was behind Deans. He knew he was behind him the whole time. It's really tough to get yourself to be able to set and throw if you're rolling left when you know you've got a big defensive end barreling down on you if you stop and set your feet for a second.
So 3rd down now for San Diego. Boy, do they need points. Deans, it's like a broken play. Delayed handoff, instead he in a run, and he scampers his way close to a first down. Marker down. They might flag Chicago for a face mask here. Or are they going to bat, or might be holding against San Diego?
See, oftentimes on a broken play like that, and we'll see if we can see anything on replay before we get the official's call. Looking at like the left tackle, left guard right there, I think we're going to get a hold on number 71, Andrew Tapia right there. I'm pretty sure. We'll wait till we get the official call. But you see that so much on broken plays.
And they called the personal foul on Chicago. I saw that swipe on the helmet going by.
Yeah, it is indeed. So the little hold, potential hold you were seeing there on the broadcast replay just a moment ago, the grab of the jersey, not deemed enough to be a foul by the officials, and instead a nice break for San Diego.
So San Diego going to set up shop for the first time inside the Chicago red zone. They'll mark it at the 9-yard line, and a golden opportunity here for Brian Salmon and his San Diego Enforcers. Boy, look at this stack to the far side, stacking 4 receivers out wide left. They're going to come back to the near side. Good coverage on the play by Chicago. They went to Calvert, but Chicago snuffed that out.
Yeah, Chris Calvert, always a favorite target of Matthew Dean's, who happens to be lined up in the backfield on the day for San Diego. But a nice job by the Chicago linebacker crew to be able to stop that. And, you know, this is a San Diego offense that has not scored in double-digit points yet this year. Obviously, they're going to have to do that to pull out a victory today. And a really, really nice couple of last drives for the San Diego offense here.
And that'll do it for the first quarter. Chicago with the lead. You're watching the NPSFL.
We either stop looking for signs of hope and praying for a swift end to our agonizing pain. As one who has walked down this road, I can honestly say that nothing I've ever done has given me more hope, more relief, or renew my courage like my relationship to ECAN, especially the reception of my new best friend, Dozer.
How many saw Forrest Gump? Well, I'm Gary Sinise, I play Lieutenant Dan.
Hello, I'm Gary Sinise, and while you may recognize me from movies or television, my life's mission has been to honor and support our nation's veterans, servicemen and women, first responders, our most severely wounded heroes, the families of our fallen, and those suffering from the invisible wounds of war.
I appreciate everything that you do for our troops.
Thank you for what you do for these veterans.
What you do for the soldiers. God bless you.
I lost my dad.
I know. And we want to show you that we don't forget your dad.
It's meaningful.
Yeah.
Because I didn't expect any of this, you know. I was just happy to be alive. So when everyone showed their love and support, it's overwhelming.
Please join me to help us help our defenders who keep us safe and our communities strong. Donate today at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
If you've been injured on the job, first notify your employer, seek immediate medical attention, and then call me at 516-280-4033. We act aggressively to litigate your matters for conclusion, and we keep you fully informed throughout the litigation process. I'm here to fight for you.
And back here in Naperville, just outside of Chicago, Illinois, for this NPSFL battle between Chicago and San Diego. San Diego on the march, 2nd down and goal for them. Trying to get on the board here this afternoon, trailing at 14-0. Dean's going to keep it, running left, has a couple of blocks, and is able to negotiate his way down to the 5-yard line.
It looks like Randall Maxey, the cornerback, will be credited with the tackle there as he pushed Deans out of bounds. A really big play, maybe the biggest play of the early going for San Diego coming up right here, Mike.
And where did it all start? Special teams.
Absolutely. We see that so often in that great return about out to midfield. Adam Tapling, the quarterback and kicker, nearly had to make a tackle on that return.
But San Diego needs to punch this one in. Behind the 8 ball, it's early. Big 3rd down and goal here. Chicago going to rush 4. And now a timeout on the field. And we'll take one with them. You're watching the NPSFL.
Firefighters Heart and Lung Institute is a medical center for firefighters, designed by firefighters. As a leading provider of advanced medical screenings, we take pride in offering the best healthcare experience for firefighters and first responders. Since 2002, the New York Firefighters Heart and Lung Institute has been dedicated to screening, diagnosing, and treating first responders and their families each and every day. We provide a broad range of testing and medical care, including cardiac and pulmonary testing, as well as educational seminars focused on firefighter safety throughout the USA and Canada. We are proud to have recently entered into a partnership with the Uniformed Firefighters Association to encourage all firefighters to come in and get tested. New York State awarded a grant to the UFA for testing and cancer screening, and they have partnered with the New York Firefighters Heart and Lung Institute to provide certain services at no cost to the individual. Check out fdnyheart.com or call 516-441-7614 to schedule an individual or group firehouse visit today.
And back here at North Central College in Naperville, Illinois. Chicago leading at 14-0, but San Diego knocking on the door.
Yeah, if you're tuning in a few minutes late, Chicago already in the NPSFL championship game on June 21st. This is the season finale for San Diego. But you might hear, major league level of sports, you hear nothing to play for there. That is just so not the case in this league ever, with everything that these gentlemen play for every single day.
You got to think San Diego's in 4-down territory here. Deans rolling with time. Out to the flat, got him in! Touchdown, San Diego!
That is Larry Roberts on the catch in the back right corner of the end zone. And what a great job by Roberts to work around the coverage of Pat Egan. You look at Pat Egan, the strong safety, one-on-one against Roberts. A great touch right there from Matthew Deans to put that ball in a place where only Roberts could get it. Roberts were able to work through quite a bit of hand fighting there with Egan and pull that ball in. And that is a huge play for San Diego here in the early part of the second quarter.
It all began with the kickoff return into Chicago territory, and it's capped off by a terrific drive. And Deans finds his man for the score. And the extra point is up, and it is good. You're watching the NPSFL.
About the people who have put their lives on the line for this great country, the people who have lost and paid the greatest price for our freedom, for guys like me to be able to go sing songs about whatever I want to sing about every single night. And we're talking about an organization that helps support families and support the people that are running into the danger that the rest of us are running away from. And that's the kind of people I want to be beside. Those are the real heroes, man. I'm just a big fat guy with a guitar. Hey, y'all, this is Jelly Roll, and I am asking you to give $11 a month to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation is committed to honoring the dignity of the American service member and is committed to helping end homelessness amongst the veteran community and ensure no veteran is left behind. Providing a safe and dignified home is an imperative part of helping veterans who are homeless reclaim their lives. Donate $11 a month by calling 1-844-BRAVEST or visit T2T.org.
And back here in Naperville, Illinois, just outside of Chicago, Chicago with the 14-7 lead over San Diego.
Yeah, still early in this one, but it looks like we might be on our way to a bit higher scoring game than San Diego's been used to playing so far this year. It is a great day for offense here, 66 and sunny at game time. Figure San Diego used to the better weather, but even they had to fight through some rain, at least a drizzle in their opener against Charlotte. Chicago, of course, coming off what could only be described as a game played in puddles down in Nashville.
Brandon Ruffin to return this kickoff, slips and falls right around the 20-yard line. Boy, that was interesting. Wonder what happened there. Let's go down on the field to our field reporter, Anthony Collada.
Yeah, Mike, not really sure. It is pretty dry out here. The 20-yard line must have just got his ankle there. But I spent some time on the San Diego sideline and some frustration defensively as Chicago has been able to move the ball pretty much at will. However, they got that big kickoff return, able to put the ball in the end zone. So maybe some momentum shifting here for San Diego, looking to get a stop here and get the ball back to their offense.
That's interesting. Thank you, Anthony, for that report field level. as Chicago, well, San Diego answered the bell. They needed a score, and now Chicago will start right at their own 20-yard line. And they're going to do a little jet sweep to the far side. First down and more, 30, 35, 40. Still going. Close to midfield.
Well, that is very nearly a 30-yard gain right there for Trent Yancey. As you said, the jet sweep handoff from Tapling. Yancey had all sorts of running room over there on the left side, and not going to help the frustrations of Casey Bondock and the San Diego defensive staff on the sideline, certainly.
So Chicago set up now in good field position. 1st and 10, approaching midfield. They lead it 14-7 here in the second quarter. And now whistles. Stop play.
Yeah, looks like we're going to have another false start for Chicago. That their 3rd pre-snap penalty here in what is still the fairly early portion of the game. Again, you know, the one thing that you see in this league is that, you know, it's first responders playing football. There's not a lot of practice time, and there's not a lot of time to iron out some of the things that you would see, you know, NFL players, high school, college players have 20-plus hours a week of practice time. The fact that they can come put on this quality of game well, attending to their full-time jobs, Mike, is impressive.
Ball is fumbled. I think Chicago has it. I credit a host of guys up there for San Diego. Edward Zubio leading the attack for the Enforcers on that one. Chicago lucky to get the football back.
Yeah, it's Zubo, the outside linebacker. We'll see if we can see when exactly this ball comes out here. But, wow, great job by 2 blue shirts to track that ball down. We'll see if we can get an eye on who actually recovered it. But, again, I mean, you're still on your own side of the field. San Diego's already picked up some of this momentum right here once again, and that's a great job by Chicago to recover.
A 2nd down and forever here. Let's see what Chicago does. They're still in pretty decent field position. Tapling gonna throw it out to the near side. Ruffin on the catch. Nice sidestep and able to plow his way down to the 49 of San Diego. Good coverage on the play for San Diego. Archer, one of them.
Yeah, Ed Zubo right in the middle of the action there, and he was able to sidestep Zubo, but by the time he had cut off the route he was initially trying to take, you got 2 other white shirts right there. That's just, you know, where you see team defense right there. Zubo never got his hand on him, but he was able to slow him down, redirect him toward the middle of the field, toward 2 teammates.
So 3rd down now at 7. Tapling out to the far side, incomplete. Good pressure for San Diego. Again, Mosley, Trayvon Mosley.
Yeah, and you see Chris Calvert on the coverage there along Mosley, and just thrown maybe a little bit behind the receiver there for Tapling. So we'll see what Chicago decides to do here. It is 4th and 7 officially, ball on the 48-yard line.
Now it looks like they're going to go for it as Tapling is staying out there. They'll rush 3. They're going to quick punt it. And this will bounce at the 15 and die right around the 11. You're watching the NPSFL.
Tom Olkers served others.
He was an incredible husband, father, NYPD officer, and FDNY firefighter.
At age 26, Tom worked at Ground Zero in the rescue and recovery efforts following the attacks of 9/11.
Throughout his courageous battle against World Trade Center cancer, Tom deeply appreciated the care provided for him and his family, including the FDNY's Family Assistance Unit.
One of the TO Foundation's first initiatives is to purchase a family assistance van to help ease the burden for other firefighters and their families when facing an illness. Together, we will honor Tom by helping first responders
and their families in their hour of need. Please visit tofamilyfoundation.org today.
ECAD, Educated Canines Assisting with Disabilities. Our mission is to enable people with disabilities to gain greater independence and mobility by using specially educated dogs. Visit ecad1.org to learn more about our Service Dogs program.
I really like that call right there, Mike, by offensive coordinator Rich Lane for Chicago. I think so many times, especially with the success of the Dan Campbell way of thinking in the NFL, you want to say go for it, go for it, go for it. Well, that's 7 yards to go still near midfield. Chicago's still up 14-7, and San Diego bought a little momentum back on that last drive. And pin them back was the way to go.
On the ground, they run it. San Diego with some big yardage up front across the 25-yard line. Man, they found something there in that fullback slot.
Yeah, they sure did. I think that's Swikowski's third run of 10 or more yards so far today. Finding a couple holes in the A-gap right there. And you got to think, when you're pinned back at the 11-yard line after the little pooch punt from Tapling, which was beautifully executed, by the way, by the Chicago quarterback and kicker. Just again, another punch right back by San Diego. And after that first drive lasted one play, the offense has looked really sharp for the visitors so far.
Boy, San Diego with a nice bounce back, falling behind 14-0. And now they're in a groove. They're in a rhythm. Boy, Deans, I give him a lot of credit. First pass was an INT and did not shake his confidence at all. Pressure here. That one thrown incomplete. Boy, that was close to intentional grounding there.
Yeah, that was right at the feet right there, I believe, of one of the offensive linemen. We're going to see if the referees will confer on this at all, if there was a eligible receiver close enough to the area. Chicago does not think so, as they're calling for the flag. Jason Anguita wants that intentional grounding call, but I don't think he's going to get it right now. And that's where, we talked a little bit ago about how Thad Porlis, the OC for San Diego, has tried to get a lot of quarterback motion in, get Deans rolling left and right to avoid that pressure up the middle. And that time, that pressure from Canton Drew, Jason Anguita, Vic Sealask, and crew came through big time.
Deans on the ground again, and this time that Chicago defense able to muscle him down around the 30-yard line.
Quick look around the league for you, Mike. This is the final week of league play, week 10. Chicago PD and NYPD both at 3-0. Charlotte and the FDNY Bravest sitting at 2-1. New York Corrections Boldest, Tri-State Shields, and San Diego Enforcers at 1-2, and the Roanoke Rampage at 0-3. Great week of action, though, here in Week 10 as the regular season comes to a close. And, of course, we mentioned earlier, if you were tuning in a little bit late, Chicago PD already in the NPSFL championship game on June 21st.
Boy, this is such a terrific league. If you just go to the NPSFL website, as markers are down, they're going to let the play go. So let's see here. It might be a free play for San Diego. They fling it out to the flat. Calvert with the catch, gain of 9.
Yeah, Mike, there were 3 Chicago defenders completely through the offensive line there. Surprised that was not blown dead right away, but they let them carry on. You see the league standings there on the page. In Division II, San Bernardino leading the way at 4-0, Orange County 3-1, Dallas at 2-1, LAPD at 1-2.
And what's interesting about the NPSFL, a lot of drama on the last weekend of the season, right? Okay, Chicago's punched its ticket to the title game, but NYPD and FDNY have to go at it tonight, and whoever wins that game gets the automatic big. Not a whole lot of pressure on those two teams tonight, huh, Tommy?
No, not at all. Easy breezy, no problem. The location of that one still to be determined as well. If FDNY wins tonight, the game will be played in the Chicago area against Chicago PD, of course. If the NYPD wins, they will host.
So 3rd down and short now. Dean's going to keep it. Can he get to the outside? He's dropped. Boy, again, those defensive ends have shown all season long to be just stout.
Yeah, that is John Simmons right there, the Cook County Forest Preserve, the team's defensive MVP in 2023 and 2024. You see right there just a great read of that play. Watch Simmons, number 44, penetrate that offensive line right there and just completely chase down Matthew Deans. Deans with really nowhere to go over on the sideline, eaten alive.
So San Diego going to line up to punt. Chicago with the lead, 14-7. Boy, this is shaping up to really have a fantastic finish. Clean snap, and the punt is away. We get away from it if you're Chicago, and Ruffin does, and it'll die at the 27. You're watching the NPSFL.
I'm actor Eric Winter. Now, playing a cop on TV and tracking bad guys is fun in games, but now I understand the challenges facing real first responders. That's why I'm asking you to support the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. For more than 2 decades, Tunnel to Towers has been supporting America's greatest heroes. The foundation is continuing to pay off mortgages for fallen first responders and Gold Star families with young children. They're also building mortgage-free smart homes for catastrophically injured veterans. Now T2T is committing itself to eradicating veteran homelessness. Please donate $11 a month to support these efforts by going to t2t.org or calling 1-844-BRAVEST. Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Let us do good.
And back here at North Central College, just outside of Chicago. Chicago going to take over, leading 14-7. On the ground, they'll run it, sweep to the far side. And a good chunk of yardage there out across the 35.
Yeah, once again, great blocking on the left side of the offensive line. Left tackle Jelani Edmond, left guard Pat Gallagher, center Keith Crott. Really accomplished offensive line for the Chicago PD enforcers up front. And a big reason why Bryant Pascasio has seen the success he has today and all year.
He's been solid. Boy, we've seen him play firsthand 3 times this year. And he has been sensational. And not only sensational, but blocks well too. He's a guy that'll do just about anything you ask. There's a pass to the near side. And good effort. Good effort by Kudzia. Able to move it pretty good with not a whole lot of real estate to work with.
Yeah, Rob Kudzia been a favorite target here in the first half for Adam Tapling for sure. The other thing I don't want to get lost in there is, just because these guys aren't getting paid millions of dollars, you get those wide receivers still blocking out wide. They know what they're playing for, and they want to win these ball games. This is not about stats, folk. This is about playing with your comrades and doing everything you can to win a ball game for the Chicago PD. And Trent Yancey right there with a great block on the outside that was able to open up that route for Kudzia.
So Tapling again with a fresh set of downs. Chicago on the move. Blazer over the middle, caught again at the 45-yard line.
Okay, you want to know right there why Tapling loves going to Kudzia so much. That was not his best throw of the day. It was an absolute laser bullet that was low into the left, a little bit behind Kudzia. See if you can see it here on the replay. Kudzia able to just plant his feet in the turf here at Pendetti Worley Stadium, reach back across his body at his knees and bring that catch in. That is a really, really difficult catch, a lot harder than it probably looks.
So a fresh set of downs for Chicago, and they are on the march, leading at 14-7 as we wind down to 5 minutes to play in this first half. Tapling looking, now going to throw it out to the far side, incomplete, and boy, they had some real estate there.
Yeah, Pascasio had some room to run. He'll be kicking himself on that one. Just a little bit of a broken play. Pascasio was probably about the 3rd or 4th read there for Adam Tapling, and he had him out left. You had Zach Fedare, the San Diego defensive end, out there as well. I think Pascasio had a step or 2 on him and probably would have been able to pick up 15 or 20 there if he can haul that in. But I think he's made enough big plays today that that might linger in his subconscious for this next play or 2, but I don't think it's going to last too long.
So second down and 10, to the air they go. Downfield has a man, just a bit overthrown.
Number 29, Joaquin Jordan, the San Diego Police Department on the coverage there. A little air under that, maybe has a chance, but a nice job to, again, force him to try to go over the top and only give Tapling one place to go there. Good coverage by Jordan.
Coming up at halftime here this afternoon, a special memorial for a fallen officer out of Oak Park, Illinois, who lost his life back on November 29th. Had a very touching ceremony. We were able to capture that, and we'll let you see that.
A few things bring real football, real heroes to your mind more than watching something like that before the game in honor of Oak Park Detective Alan Reddens, Mike.
True hero, man. True hero. I live in the area and know all about what happened. Tapling to the air. Now gonna run. Has room. Turns the corner. 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Tapling. Oh, hold on. He stepped out of bounds at the 15.
Yeah, and boy, it looked like he had a clear route to the end zone. And did you see Bryant Pascasio absolutely sprinting down that sideline to lay out a lead block for his quarterback, but just in front of where he tried to lay that block out, it looks like Tapling must have tapped the sideline with his foot. The San Diego sideline saw it right away, as did the side judge, so still a great pickup right there for the Chicago quarterback.
No doubt. Well, Chicago now trying to answer the bell. San Diego, after taking a right hook to fall down 14-0, boy, they've taken control of this game. Their special teams has come through for them. They found a way to run the football, but now here comes Chicago with a 1st and 10 at the San Diego 15. Good football game out here this afternoon. They're going to run it. And inside the 15, good coverage on the play by that San Diego secondary.
Yeah, that's the second jet sweep that tried to run about the last 7-8 minutes of Trent Yancey there. Still good for a gain of a couple, but San Diego was ready for it that time.
Clock running inside of 4 minutes to go. Chicago with the 14-7 lead.
If you're Chicago, Mike, you're not in a real big hurry here. The ideal situation here is you can run a couple minutes off the clock. You can try to punch this in maybe under the 1 minute mark and not give that San Diego offense a whole lot of time.
And Chicago receives the second half kickoff. So that can also tilt in their favor from a clock management standpoint. Tapling to throw, underneath, broken up nicely, nearly intercepted. Oh, the ball hawk jumping in there, Kevin Novick.
Yeah, not the first time we've called his name today, Mike. Kevin Novick, a member of the DEA out in the San Diego area. Those who are more familiar with the Chicago team, it is all Chicago and Chicago area police officers from various locales. San Diego, a little bit more broad, local public safety professionals, police, fire, and any other first responders.
Novick able to dive in. What athleticism. Just came flying in and broke it up. Nice hops on the young man. Third down, they'll keep it on the ground, and San Diego going to snuff that one out. So bring up 4th down now. Let's see what Chicago decides to do.
Yeah, that's a call that Brian Fennelly and Rich Lane make right there, knowing that they have the advantage in this game, both score-wise, but also, as we mentioned a minute ago, clock management-wise. They'll get the ball back to open the second half. They want to keep the clock running here, run another 40 seconds off, and if they have to settle for a field goal, so be it. It's a great time to take the high percentage, low risk play with the run to Pascasio.
So Chicago going to attempt the field goal here. This will be from about 30 yards away.
It's a good day to kick here, as the really very little to no wind right now at Benedetti Worley Stadium.
As Chicago trying to get settled, get the right personnel in for the play. And now a timeout is taken. Oh, nope, delay of game. Yeah, Chicago got turned around on substitutions. and it cost him 5 yards. So that may change the decision making here for Chicago. Let's go down on the field to Anthony. Anthony, what did you see down there?
Yeah, Mike, looks like we're having a little trouble connecting with Anthony right now, but it looked like there's just one player late to come in off the sideline for Chicago. A little confusion again, very understandable in these circumstances where you're working with public safety professionals who have limited practice time. You're going to see stuff like that, and we're going to have a timeout now on the field.
We'll be back. You're watching the NPSFL.
Decades, Rigging NYC Contractors, Inc. has been the go-to provider of rigging services in New York City. Specializing in construction and industrial rigging, as well as machinery moving, we are dedicated to delivering safe and timely solutions. Our team consists of licensed master riggers, operating engineers, Teamster drivers, steam fitters, and iron workers. No matter the industrial or construction application, we have the lifting solution for you. In addition to rigging services, we offer specialized trucking services to handle equipment and materials. Our fleet of tractor trailers and experienced drivers make us the premier choice for New York trucking, including oversized freight and heavy loads. When it comes to rigging, trust the experts, the licensed master riggers at Rigging NYC Contractors. Contact us today for more information and let us make your next project a resounding success.
This is it. We'll keep it rolling. So Chicago now on to attempt a field goal of 35 yards to try to put them up 2 scores.
Chris Lenti lining up with Jake Glotzer holding.
Clean snap, spot, kick is no good. It remains 14-7 Chicago. This is the NPSFL.
Dave Portnoy is known as the founder of Barstool Sports and is known for his sharp commentary and down-to-earth one-bite pizza reviews. Dave created the Barstool Fund during COVID and raised $50 million to help small businesses stay afloat.
What worked with the Barstool Fund? They knew they were giving us money, and the money was going right to the businesses they wanted to give the money to.
People knew where the money is going, and we're 95.1% of every dollar that is raised goes to our great heroes.
Yeah, and that's a huge part. I did all the research I've known about you guys.
I want to hear what you rate the Tunnel to Towers Foundation.
Right, which is always high pressure when I'm sitting right next to the guy. It's like, but we'll give it 10, even though I don't generally give 10s. That's a rookie score. But we'll give it 10. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't a 10.
You know, we ask for $11 a month.
$11, you have full pie. You're good to go. You skip one pie.
You skip one pie and you help a hero and their family that are left behind. So let's do good together.
Let's do it.
Late second quarter, Chicago with a 14-7 lead.
Yeah, and San Diego would love to be able to put a long drive right here together and get this game tied up, or at least get in field goal range, especially with the ball going to Chicago in the first possession of the second half. That first play, as we were coming back from commercial, Matthew Dean's rolling right about 5 yards, looking for Chris Calvert. Calvert had his feet planted, was not quite able to lunge for the ball as it rode toward the left hash mark. It'll be 2nd and 10 now with 1:51 to play.
Second quarter action, Chicago with a 14-7 lead. Screen, and Chicago able to snuff that one out. You know, you look at the first responders playing football and the grind that these guys go through, Tommy. I mean, they endure, in addition to regular work and family schedules, this isn't easy either.
Oh, it is not. I mean, when you look at college sports and your Patriot League and Ivy League and Division III and truly playing for the love of the game, and this really takes it to a whole nother level, Mike. Because when you talk about playing for the love of the game, these are no longer, high school or college athletes who are going to school and playing their sport. These are family men, often with kids who have full-time jobs that are really high stress and really important in their communities. And they take time out of their day, out of their schedule throughout the year to do this for the camaraderie and for the love, the true love of the sport.
On Your Six Bourbon Whiskey, inspired by everyday heroes like nurses, police officers, teachers, and firefighters who make this country so loved and respected. We keep the military tradition of grabbing a drink to celebrate someone's Who's Got Your Six. Visit OnYourSix.com today to purchase your first bottle.
And this is a big play right here. 2 timeouts left for each team, just over 1:30 to go. Chicago can get a stop here. Suddenly they've got time to put a drive together still.
A little end around here and tripped up. Boy, who got 40? Was that a couple of guys got in there for Chicago? I want to say there he was again, John Simmons.
Yeah, that may have been Simmons. That was also my gut feeling as I was watching it. Just a little trickery right there tried by San Diego, and I like it. Keep the ball on the ground and keep the clock running, but also give yourself a chance on a little bit of a trick play to actually pick up at 3rd and 8. But alas, not so. Another great work by Chicago's defensive front.
Timeout on the field, 14-7 Chicago. This is the NPSFL.
Ever wonder who helps our everyday heroes when they need support? Enter FundTheFirst.com, a unique crowdfunding platform dedicated to first responders, their families, and their friends. Unlike typical sites, we don't take a cut. Every dollar goes directly to those in need. Whether it's for emergency medical bills, family emergencies, or equipment, FundTheFirst.com is there. It's our chance to give back to those who risk it all for us. From police officers to firefighters, these heroes deserve our support. Want to make a real impact? Check out FundTheFirst.com and show our heroes that we've got their backs. It's time to support those who always support us.
Back here at North Central College in the Chicagoland area, with Chicago leading San Diego 14-7 in this NPSFL football game. And San Diego will punt it away, and it'll go out of bounds at the 43-yard line. Right, coming up at halftime, we'll have the pregame ceremony honoring a fallen police officer out of Oak Park, Illinois. Also here from Tunnel to Towers. And then also Brian Salmon, the head coach of San Diego. He's been here since 1998. And this is his last game. He's going to stay on with the organization. But this man is flat out a winner.
Yeah, really the heart and soul of the San Diego Enforcers in so many ways. 58-16, including 5 championship appearances, 2 NPSFL national championships, and a Division II championship.
Chicago going to try to do something here inside of 2 minutes, and that pass incomplete. Well, you know, you look back at Solomon, and we were talking to him in the pregame, and he said, well, you know, COVID hurt a little bit. We missed a couple there. But he is passionate about the NPSFL, has a great drive not only for his football program, San Diego, but for the league nationwide.
Yeah, and Mike, you know, there's everybody cares, but there's guys whose level of care for what they do and the people that they're responsible for every day just is so clear within 2 or 3 minutes of talking to them, and that is absolutely who Coach Solomon is and who he has always been. And, you know, it's 27 years, a little bit on and off, like we said, but since 1998, he's been the man in charge in San Diego. Certainly continue to have a big role, but you know his players want to win for his last day on the sideline today.
Tappling and throws, got a man in some room. Nice move inside the 35 and tackled at the 33-yard line. Boy, on the catch, hauling that in again, Trent Yancey.
Yeah, Chicago Fire Department's Trent Yancey made his presence known on offense for sure here in the early going. A couple of running plays, including that big 28-yard jet sweep earlier on. We're under the 1 minute mark here. believe Michael on a timeout taken by San Diego.
You see Yancey here just making a move. Timeout here in the Chicagoland area. Chicago leading at 14-7. You're watching the NPSFL.
Frequently either stop looking for signs of hope and praying for a swift end to our agonizing pain. As one who has walked down this road, I can honestly say that nothing I have ever done has given me more hope, more relief. I renew my courage like my relationship to ECAN, especially the reception of my new best friend, Dozer.
Chicago trying to make a move here. 3rd down and short. Tapling going for it all in the end zone. Incomplete.
Love the aggressive pass downfield right there, looking for Brandon Ruffin, who we also found deep threat on the left sideline on the first offensive play of the game for Chicago. Really nice coverage down the field. Looked like Trey Mosley for San Diego. Look at there, Mosley just shadowing Ruffin the entire time, making sure that Adam Tapling had a 6-inch window to put that ball in. A great effort by both men down there.
Boy, all three. Tapling put it right where it had to be. Ruffin with an extraordinary effort. And then the secondary, the defensive back, able to break that up. Now they're going to reset the clock here, saying that no time has expired. Chicago leading at 14-7. Chicago has punched its ticket to the NPSFL championship game on June 21st. Location to be determined. It all depends what happens out in New York tonight. To the air, bullet, got a man. 1st down to the 20.
Let's see, was that Andrew Pena on the reception there? It is indeed number 88, Andrew Pena of the Des Plaines Police Department. And a great job once again by Tapling to find his open receiver there on 4th and 1. Chicago looks to get something rolling here under 30 seconds.
Tapling going to try to go to the end zone again. He's got him in. Is it caught? Did he hang on? Yes! Touchdown, Chicago!
Oh my goodness, Trent Yancey. What a grab. Yancey fighting both the defensive back and the back sideline of the end zone right there. It was hard to tell from up here if he was able to get a knee or elbow down inbounds, but the back judge all over it, looking right down the line, said it was a clean catch by Yancey. And what a devastating, devastating blow for the San Diego defense right there. It held Chicago scoreless since the 4.5-minute mark of the first half.
So Chicago extends his lead.
Second touchdown pass for Adam Tapling. First one went to Kudzia. The 9-yard connection in the middle of the end zone. This one a much higher degree of difficulty to Yancey, who's been all over the place here in the first half.
And Lenti has been a proven winner in the kicking department for Chicago this year as he sets up for the extra point here. And this one sails through the uprights to advance the lead to 21-7. Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Since 9/11, we have been helping America's heroes by providing mortgage-free homes to Gold Star and fallen first responder families. We are also committed to eradicating veteran homelessness and helping America to never forget September 11th, 2001. Visit t2t.org for more information or to make your donation today.
It's like 21.3 on the clock right here in the first half. If you're San Diego, you're going to try to make something happen here or be willing to just take a knee and send it to halftime?
Well, it all would depend on the return. And remember, they had a couple of big ones already. So Chicago with the lead 21-7. San Diego looking for a return to set up shop here. Again, Chicago is in the NPSFL championship game on June 21. We await tonight between the New York Police Department and the Fire Department of New York.
Good job. Hold on.
On the return, out across the 25 to the 26-yard line heads Kevin Novick. And Chicago there on the special teams to wrap them up.
Nice job to avoid the tackle of John Simmons, but Simmons able to slow him down just enough to let three other blue jerseys get there. And now you're looking at 13.7 seconds to go, and not much chance to make anything happen here for San Diego.
If NYPD wins tonight, then they will host Chicago on June 21st. If FDNY wins tonight, then Chicago will entertain FDNY here in Chicago on June the 21st. So San Diego content to run out the clock as they run a dive play straight ahead, and that'll take us to halftime. At the break, here in Naperville, in the Chicagoland area, it's Chicago 21, San Diego 7. You're watching the NPSFL.
She's the most amazing person in my life.
I would definitely consider my mom as a hero.
I love and miss my mom very much.
The worst day of my life was the day that my mother was murdered on July 5th, 2017.
That same night in the hospital, when my brother and sister asked me who was going to take care of them after I had to break the horribly tragic news that our mother had been murdered, I said, I will take care of you.
There are over 1,000 families that need our help. Hamilton Towers is honoring those heroes that risked their lives by providing them with mortgage-free homes.
First responders are human too. They have fears and families that they need to come home to. For just $11 a month, you can give back to these heroes who gave up so much for you and ensure that their families will always have a home.
Please donate $11 a month by visiting tunneltotowers.org or calling 1-844-BRAVEST. Thank you.
So how many saw Forrest Gump? Well, I'm Gary Sinise. I play Lieutenant Dan.
Hello, I'm Gary Sinise, and while you may recognize me from movies or television, my life's mission has been to honor and support our nation's veterans, servicemen and women, first responders, our most severely wounded heroes, the families of our fallen, and those suffering from the invisible wounds of war.
I appreciate everything that you do for our troops.
Thank you for what you do for these veterans.
What you do for the soldiers, God bless you.
I lost my dad.
I know. And we want to show you that we don't forget your dad.
It's meaningful.
Yeah.
Because I didn't expect any of this, I was just happy to be alive. So when everyone showed their love and support, it's overwhelming.
Please join me to help us help our defenders who keep us safe and our communities strong. Donate today at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
Ground Zero is the burial place for my brother, yet I think that not everybody can go to New York and to Ground Zero and visit the memorial there, so we felt it was vitally important once again that we carry the message that we never forget. And one way that you never forget is that if you learn what happened that day, and a lot of young kids don't even know. They hear about September 11th, a lot of them were maybe 10 years old, now they're 22 years old, a lot of them weren't even born. And I think that one of the most important things as parents, if parents are listening, and the children, is that that you bring them here and you tell them the story. Tell them where you were on September 11, 2001, and what an impact it had in your life. It changed the world. That day has changed the world. It's not the same world it was on September 10, 2001, and I think that you have to tell why and what happened that day. Not just because Stephen died, because so many have died that day. And that, you know, and so much of our military has sacrificed so much for us before that, but most certainly ever since. I think this statement really sums up our military and our great first responders. For those I love, I will sacrifice. And this is Kyle Hockenberry, and Kyle is, his house is under construction right now. And the program here, which is Building for America's Bravest, which is what we spend most of our energy on right now. You know, that and our Never Forget Mobile exhibit here, is that, you know, we have to raise a lot of money because our men and women have paid a big price for, you know, protecting us here, back here in the States. And so many of them coming back, triple, quadruple amputees. So many of are paralyzed, and we're proud to say that we are committed to making sure that every one of them get a house. And it's been a journey the last 12 years. We've met some of the best Americans around the country. It's most certainly, once again, our men and women who serve, but besides that, just everyday Americans who have come together to help our cause, to make sure we never forget and we honor the sacrifice.
This is a very interesting piece, and to me it's the most poignant piece in the exhibit. Welded in New York for the 10th anniversary, was presented to 3 Truck, and 3 Truck their leader that day was Captain Patrick Brown, who in his 24 years of service in the FDNY had received 21 medals for heroism. They had gotten above the 40th floor at that point, he and his men, and they heard and saw what was going on, and they were describing over the radio the injuries that were coming down so that the command post and lobby be ready for it. And the very last transmission that they were able to put out was, "This is 3 Truck, and we're still heading up." And then the building fell on them. So that was their last transmission. That's what I love. They cut out crucifixes, one for each family, one for each member, fire department member who died that day, to give to their family members on the 10th anniversary. So each family member of a fireman from 3 Truck has this piece of steel as a memento.
I think it's pretty amazing, especially for young kids that weren't there, to see the way our country was able to rally together in a situation like this. It's pretty incredible to bring it home.
It puts shivers up my back, and it's a great remembrance of what we should never let happen again to our great country.
I would encourage anybody who has an opportunity to come down and visit this. It's really something that will bring back a lot of memories if you were involved on that day. And it's good for Americans to see all the things that we've gone through, and we're still here today.
Oh, I think I would encourage people to, tour the museum. It's not a long walk through, but it brings back the memories, and it makes you feel like you're an American. And I think people should just go to reflect, and again, how lucky we are to live in this country.
Well, I think just taking 15, 20 minutes before the start of the game right here, where you got 70, 80,000 fans, means a lot. I think it puts the whole day in a proper perspective by kind of going through this first and understanding that the freedoms we have to watch football games are largely built on the shoulders of the gentlemen and soldiers that have paid the sacrifice in combat and in New York City.
At the time, he was only 2 when it happened, so he has no idea about what has happened. And it just brings a lot of memories back. That day is where you were at when it happened. This is a good thing.
I'm glad to see this exhibit. There can't be enough of this. We need to see more of it and remind people what happened and why we are a nation of free people.
Ground Zero is the burial place for my brother, yet I think that not everybody can go to New York and to Ground Zero and visit the memorial there, so we felt it was vitally important, once again, that we carry the message that we never forget. And one way that you never forget is that if you learn what happened that day, and a lot of young kids don't even know. They hear about September 11th, a lot of them were maybe 10 years old, now they're 22 years old, a lot of them weren't even born. And I think that one of the most important things as parents, if parents are listening, and the children, is that that you bring them here and you tell them the story. Tell them where you were on September 11, 2001, and what an impact it had in your life. It changed the world. That day has changed the world. It's not the same world it was on September 10, 2001, and I think that you have to tell why and what happened that day. Not just because Stephen died, because so many have died that day. And that, you know, and so much of our military has sacrificed so much for us before that, but most certainly ever since. I think this statement really sums up our military and our great first responders. For those I love, I will sacrifice. And this is Kyle Hockenberry, and Kyle is, his house is under construction right now. And this program here, which is Building for America's Bravest, which is what we spend most of our energy on right now. You know, that and our Never Forget Mobile exhibit.
Determine if you have a valid personal injury claim. First, you need an injury. Then you have to determine if someone else was negligent. If there's a link between that negligence and your injury, you've got a strong case and you can proceed.
Koval and Associates. We fight for you.
Firefighters Heart and Lung Institute is a medical center for firefighters, designed by firefighters. As a leading provider of advanced medical screenings, we take pride in offering the best healthcare experience for firefighters and first responders. Since 2002, the New York Firefighters Heart and Lung Institute has been dedicated to screening, diagnosing, and treating first responders and their families each and every day. We provide a broad range of testing and medical care, including cardiac and pulmonary testing, as well as educational seminars focused on firefighter safety throughout the USA and Canada. We are proud to have recently entered into a partnership with the Uniformed Firefighters Association to encourage all firefighters to come in and get tested. New York State awarded a grant to the UFA for testing and cancer screening, and they have partnered with the New York Firefighters Heart and Lung Institute to provide certain services at no cost to the individual. Check out fdnyheart.com or call 516-441-7614 to schedule an individual or group firehouse visit today.
Tom Olkers served others.
He was an incredible husband, father, NYPD officer, and FDNY firefighter.
At age 26, Tom worked at Ground Zero in the rescue and recovery efforts following the attacks of 9/11.
Throughout his courageous battle against World Trade Center cancer, Tom deeply appreciated the care provided for him and his family, including the FDNY's Family Assistance Unit.
One of the TO Foundation's first initiatives is to purchase a family assistance van to help ease the burden for other firefighters and their families when facing an illness.
Together, we will honor Tom by helping first responders and their families in their hour of need. Please visit tofamilyfoundation.org today.
And I'm here with head coach of San Diego Enforcers, Brian Salmon. Brian, 20-something plus years with the team. Kind of speak to the impact that you have had and what it means to be around these guys year in and year out.
I was not in law enforcement. I am a football coach. I've been doing it for 47 years, and I joined the organization back in 98, and I thought I had no idea what I was getting into. I was a local coach and all that. I thought it could have even been a beer league. Who knows, right? And I got introduced to it. I've been doing it ever since. These are the most amazing young men that I've ever been around. They work full time. I found some people that are as passionate about football as I am, and I've loved it for all these years.
Absolutely. So, you know, coming in from seeing so much happen throughout the league, speak to first some of the biggest changes that you've seen positively throughout the league.
Well, positively, it's always been for it. Our motto in a lot of teams in this league, motto is it's bigger than football. We've been able to give a lot of money to charity. I, myself, personally have been able to see these young men grow up, have families, retire from the agency. I've got to experience all that, and it's been amazing.
So, again, from the infancies of everything, what are some of those challenges that you have endured throughout all of this time that you have personally tried to take on and change for the better?
Well, we always face challenges. You have to realize these young men are working for a living, right? So being able to get the time off to put all the time and effort into this is a challenge for all of them. And so that's the biggest challenge. When we started with the organization, we were small. We grew up to about 28 teams, and now we're kind of having some challenges keeping those teams in the league. Those are some of the challenges, but it's always great football.
Absolutely.
Everyone that comes and see these games understands how passionate these young men are about football.
Yeah, I mean that's the biggest thing, and we go through all that history to say that this is your last game coaching on the sidelines.
Yes.
What does that mean for you, just to see this whole career kind of now is when it's over?
Well, it means an awful lot. Like I said, I started coaching football in 1979, and this just has been the most enjoyable experience for me as a coach, as a person, being a part of such a great organization.
Yeah, and we had chatted a little bit before that, just because you're done on the sidelines here doesn't necessarily mean that you are done with this league, with football. So kind of what is the next steps for you moving forward then?
Well, I plan to stay on the board as an advisor. Most people don't get this, but traveling with this team is some of the most fun times you'll ever have. So I don't really want to miss that. I'm not ready to leave that part of it, but just all the field stuff. I found a really good replacement, Chris Buchanan. He played for me and he's coached for me, and he's going to take this team to greater levels.
That's awesome. So you kind of mentioned previously that there's some things that the league still needs to grow on and get better with. What are some of those things, and how are you going to try to pursue that?
Well, we need to bring more teams into the league, and that's what we're really trying to do. We have I believe Nashville is extremely interested in joining the league, and there's other teams. So as the league really needs to focus on that and start building this back up, because like I said, we're all blessed with being able to play such a great sport and be a part of such a great sport. And we want to continue being leaders in our community and also with our charities.
Absolutely. So with all that reflection, we still got a football game to play out here today. So kind of real quick, tell me about, what the feelings are for this last game, and, how you're going to get out of here with a win.
Well, we are underdogs, and a lot of times that doesn't happen with us. We've had a challenging season this year, but I do believe our boys are going to give it everything they have. Our coaching staff has prepared for this. Everyone has prepared for it. We're going to try and give them a good game.
Awesome. Coach, I appreciate the time. Good luck out here.
Thank you very much.
And go get that win in your last game.
Thank you.
Back up to you guys in the booth. That was the halftime report with Anthony Collada and Coach Brian Salmon of San Diego.
On 29 November 2024, Detective Alan Redding of the Oak Park Police Department was working in a patrol capacity and responded to a call of a person with a gun. Upon arriving on scene, Detective Redden was immediately met with gunfire. Detective Reddings was struck by a bullet as additional responding officers returned fire, striking the offender and neutralizing the threat. The additional responding officers provided cover for Detective Reddings and began to render aid as paramedic units were dispatched. Oak Park paramedics transported Detective Reddings to Loyola Medical Center where he succumbed to his wounds. The following day, the offender was rightfully charged with first-degree murder. Detective Reddings was a 40-year-old and a 5-year veteran of the Oak Park Police Department. He is the first line-of-duty death for the Oak Park Police Department since 1938. Please stand while the enforcers present Alan Redding's son Jaden and the Reddings family a custom enforcer jersey with a star number. To the Reddings family, Alan may be gone, but he will never be forgotten, and he will always have a place here with the Chicago Enforcers.
There you see the memorial for the fallen Oak Park police officer who passed away on November 29th of 2024.
Yeah, the family of Detective Alan Reddens out here being honored by the enforcers. They gave him an enforcer's jersey with his badge number on it. A really touching ceremony, a ceremony you never want to have, Mike, but a touching ceremony and a great way to honor his family and make sure that they know they're part of the Oak Park police department and the NPSFL family forever.
Yeah, it was a bank robbery. He responded and was shot. He returned fire and subdued the suspect. Second half is underway. And Chicago going to start at their 25-yard line, leading it by a score of 21-7.
Yeah,
what do you need to see in the second half here if you're San Diego?
Well, I love seeing they were able to stop Brandon Ruffin there on the return and keep him from breaking that one, but I think San Diego needs a defensive stop right here. There's no question about that. Casey Bondock and his defensive staff have been back under the stadium for the past 20 minutes trying to figure out how can we stop that combination of Adam Tapling at quarterback and Bryant Pascasio, the outstanding running back for Chicago. Chicago jumped out to a 7-0 lead 4.5 minutes into the ballgame on a 9-yard pass from Tapling to Kudzia. Extended it to 14-0 about 6 minutes later on a touchdown run by Brandon Brooks. San Diego answered back in the early second quarter with a touchdown pass to Larry Roberts, and then Chicago scored with 21 seconds to go and passed Trent Yancey.
And Chicago going to open up on the ground, and San Diego with the stop. The ball carrier for Chicago was Brandon Brooks. Not much to get there.
Yeah, Ed Zubo, the outside linebacker from LASD, once again, an outstanding play on the outside to contain Brooks, who is the Thunder Lightning combo with Bryant Pascasio. I've seen Brooks take in the only rushing touchdown of the day for either team so far, even though Pascasio's gotten the lion's share of the carries. But a nice stop there on a drive that's really important for the visitors right here.
21-7, Chicago with the lead here as we start this third quarter. Chicago opened up with a 14-0 lead and extended that to 21-7 on a just remarkable catch in the end zone as the second quarter concluded. Tapling rolling, now going to throw over the middle in traffic, and it is caught. Juggling catch made in tight coverage.
Andrew Pena with a play that he is going to remember right there. He was able to get his hands on that ball, deflect it up in the air, and then as a defensive back made contact with him, able to somehow turn around and bring it in, controlling his body the whole time. Can be a dangerous play right there, but a great grab by Pena and a great job to finish that catch.
Hey folks, don't forget, go to the NPSFL.org for all the information you need on NPSFL football. Standings, rosters, NPSFL.org. Third down and 3. Quick toss to the far side. Good coverage on that secondary. San Diego stopped them.
Yeah, and once again, that looked like Ed Zubo on the outside. The outside linebacker has been all over the place for San Diego's defense, and that is what they needed. I mean, Mike, as you come off that just devastating touchdown pass to Trent Yancey with 21 seconds to go in the first half that put Chicago up 21-7. You knew with Chicago getting the ball back, San Diego's got to come out and make a statement if they want to stay in this game. And they certainly did that right there on the 3-and-out.
Solention to punt the football away. Chicago trying to move to an impressive 4-0 on the season.
Looking for their first undefeated season in 4 years.
And will play for their second national NPSFL championship as a fair catch is made. And we'll take a break. 21-7 Chicago. This is the NPSFL.
Ever wonder who helps our everyday heroes when they need support? Enter fundthefirst.com, a unique crowdfunding platform dedicated to first responders, their families, and their friends. Unlike typical sites, we don't take a cut. Every dollar goes directly to those in need. Whether it's for emergency medical bills, family emergencies, or equipment, fundthefirst.com is there. It's our chance to give back to those who risk it all for us. From police officers to firefighters, these heroes deserve our support. Want to make a real impact? Check out fundthefirst.com and show our heroes that we've got their backs. It's time to support those who always support us.
He can hear us. That's right. I forgot. And we're back here at North Central College for this NPSFL football game. San Diego with the deficit here of 21-7 as they take on Chicago. San Diego with the football, and they'll set up shop. And they'll open up on the ground for a short gain. The president for the San Diego Enforcers is Jason Sullivan, and he is down on the field with our field reporter, Anthony Collada.
Yeah, I'm here with the San Diego football president, Jason Sullivan here. And Jason, you were kind of explaining to me that you've kind of got your hat in both rings here with both teams. Kind of explain that to me.
I will, and I'm a former president, so I'm an old-timer. I go very back to the beginning of the league when it opened up to the original teams. And quick little history lesson, I think the Chicago fans will appreciate it. The San Diego team was actually the original Enforcers, and then we folded for a few seasons. And while that time happened, Chicago came on the scene, and the team took the name Enforcers, rightfully so, and then we came back into the league, and we didn't want to sacrifice that name. So that's a little bit of the history, and that's why you see two Enforcer teams on the field today, right? Neither one of us wanted to give it up, and Chicago certainly felt they had the rights. They were the most recent to it, right? What happened, what I wanted to say is we play a lot of teams. We would play New York PD, New York Fire. We've been all around Dallas, Los Angeles, and the coolest group of guys has always been the Chicago PD team. I came up yesterday. I was a former president, former player for San Diego. These are the president and the coach are good friends of mine. I played with them, and I chose to hang out with my friend John Curry, Sergeant Curry, and I stayed at his house last night. My team's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, I met John back when we were players, right? And we developed a friendship, and we've stayed in touch, and that's the spirit of the league. Because we're out here, we're all public safety people, and we're donating money, we're playing a sport we love. The people come watch, and it's about the friendships. You forget the plays, right? You forget what you did on the field unless it was a spectacular play, but you remember the times after. There'll be an after party tonight. We'll go out, we'll have a couple beers, a sandwich, and I always tell the guys, make friends. Because some of my best friends are guys from around the league, and I'm torn. I mean, every time Chicago does something great, I'm excited. I don't want my guys to see that I'm too excited, right? At the same time, I want my guys to play good. It's a good group of people. The best group, I think, of all the teams we played. They really embodied the spirit of the National Public Safety Football League, and it was kudos to their coach and their philosophy. They knew how to just hang out and be cool, right?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of touched on it throughout the broadcast that, both of these teams, some of the most successful teams throughout the NPSFL. So you must have some insider voodoo that you got going on. What kind of impact have you had that has spelled that much success?
Thank you for the compliment, by the way. It's really about just getting the right mix of guys. And I'll tell you, anyone who's ever coached this, it's an insane situation because you've got grown men that you're coaching that carry badges and guns. There's egos, nuclear level egos, and to be able to keep everybody kind of contained and realize some of these guys were the best player on their high school or at their college, and here maybe they're not. It's a really interesting dynamic. But at the end of the day, everybody's in the same line of work, and the chance they can play ball and meet some other guys, it's really, really cool. And I'm happy to see that PD's got fire guys on their team because they didn't back in the day. And it's nice because our team was traditionally, we had 15 different agencies on my team to field a competitive team. And you would look down the line of scrimmage and see an FBI agent, a Border Patrol guy, a corrections officer, a San Diego cop, a San Diego probation officer. It was just really cool because everybody came together. Right.
Absolutely. We appreciate the time,
Yes.
explaining because, we had questions too, two Enforcer teams. So we appreciate you taking the time, getting on here and explaining your role and your importance to this.
And I'll tell you, the Chicago team is going off to play one of the New York teams for all of it. And I couldn't be a bigger fan. And I hope they just put a butt kicking on them because it would really be nice to see. It's a good group of guys. The city's a tough gig to work. Everybody knows that who's from here. It's a thankless job, and the support is much appreciated for them.
Absolutely. We appreciate it, Jason. Back up to you, Mike and Tommy.
Thank you, Anthony. And
Sorry,
man, the gauntlet has been thrown down there, huh? You know how San Diego feels about who they want in the title game, huh?
I don't think there was any doubt about that there, Mike. There you go. And, of course, no New York-based team, no team based outside New York has won a title since 2016 when San Diego won their second championship, 42 over the LA Centurions. It has been a New York-based team, whether the police or fire, every single year since, except for those 2 years in 20 and 21 when there was no championship.
And Chicago won their one and only NPSFL title back in 2011. Deans to throw, weak side, pressure coming, and they get him from behind.
There you go, Carlin Ento of the Chicago Police Department with a great job pursuing Deans, dragging him down by the ankles. We've seen that defensive front for Chicago show up time and time again, and right there, a great sack by Ento.
Good foot pursuit, and they were able to get that spot and able to mark him down right inside the 30-yard line. Boy, I want to say a must score. We're still early here, 8 minutes to go in the third, but boy, San Diego, you get a score here, you feel it's a jump ball game again. Deans rolling, complete, and the stop made at the 24-yard line.
Yeah, Chris Calvert once again there on the catch. Jesse Morris, police officer from Phoenix, awaiting right there to make the tackle. But Chris Calvert has been all over the field on both offense and a little bit even defense this afternoon. Calvert certainly the biggest difference maker in the wide receiving group for Matthew Deans this afternoon. And as you said, I mean, I agree with you, Mike. I think we're in pretty close to must-score territory here. I mean, you've got 22 minutes left, anything can happen, but Chicago has moved the ball well. You can't count on keeping them at 21.
So third down and long here. Let's see what Deans and the offense come up with here. They're going to rush 5 on the Chicago side. Deans with time, going to the end zone. Incomplete.
Boy, just a little bit long right there. I think even if he'd hauled that in, it's probably not keeping a foot in the back of the end zone. We'll check it out here on the replay. Yeah, a little bit of time right there for Deans to throw, and a great job up front by Tapia and Garner and Rojas in particular in the middle of that offensive line, being able to hold off the Chicago pass rush.
So San Diego going to line up for a field goal here. This will be a 40-yarder. Clean snap, spot blocked. Picked up by Chicago.
And I think that was Pat Egan, the safety, on the block right there. It is, as he's coming off and getting mobbed by his teammates. Pat Egan jumping up in the middle of the defensive line. And when you're attempting a 40-yard field goal there, Mike, you have to kick it low. And that really gave Egan and his mates there in the defensive backfield a chance to get up. And that was not a fingertip on that ball. That was a Dikembe Mutombo swat right there from Pat Egan. Sergio Diaz from the Chicago Fire Department on the recovery had a chance to return it, but was then brought down about 15 yards into the backfield there.
Special teams. San Diego had one in the first half. Chicago now comes up with their version of it. And see what Chicago can do with it here. Tackling, screen, room. 45, 40, 35.
Man, Trent Yancey right there once again in a 1-on-4 situation on the outside, turning about a 6-yard catch into a gain of 11 or 12. Yancey from the Chicago Fire Department, yeah, he's looked good today.
He has been up there. You know, Yancey really playing well. A couple of big grabs. Like Tapling playing well.
And the underrated part of that block, too, Mike, is that this is great field position for Chicago with a chance to put almost a nail in the coffin here, already up 14.
Rolling is Tapling, going to set up the screen. There's the completion. First down and more, down to the 22-yard line. Again, Trent Yancey.
Yancey just showcasing that explosive speed over the middle of the field. Nobody within about a yard and a half of him when he caught that ball, but had to navigate through 3 defenders to pick up the first down. And I think what stands out to me, too, about Adam Tapling is his patience in the pocket today, Mike. He is not rushed to go to his first read if it's not there. He knows he's got a good offensive line. He's going to have a little bit of time up front. He's used that time very well.
Blitz coming. They're going to run it on the ground. Inside the 15 and down to the 13-yard line. Good chunk of yardage for Pascasio.
Yeah, Bryant Pascasio, another explosive run right there, brought down by Justin Garcia on the tackle. And he is close to a first down. I believe they're going to mark him about a yard short here, maybe even a touch less than that.
Chicago on the march, up 14, inside of 5 to play here in the third. Good pressure up front. San Diego able to see that one coming. Leading the charge, that's Edward Zuba again, or I'm sorry, Edward Zuba on the stop.
Yeah, Ed Zubo, a name we've called about, 7 times this afternoon so far, as you get a chance to see once again the outside linebacker for the San Diego Enforcers penetrating the backfield. A beautiful tackle for loss right there, and just like that, you went from 2nd and 1 to 3rd and 8 right there. It's a running back who has pretty much been dashing this defensive front all day. A huge play by Ed Zubo trying to keep his team in the game here.
Good kicking game Chicago has broadcasted here so far this year. So even if they don't get the first down, Lenti with the leg might be an option for him. Thinking ahead here. Dabbling, going to go out to the far flat. Yancey again on the catch. Jitterbugs inside the 20, but again, the San Diego reinforcements come in there, and they stop him shy.
Yeah, Yancey evading a couple of attempted tackles right there, finally brought down just shy of the first down marker. We'll see exactly where they mark it here. It looks like it's going to be 4th and 4.
And they're going to go for it.
I say sitting here looking at a 33, 34-yard field goal. Already 18 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in this ball game. Keep possession, keep the clock running, and you probably have a better chance to convert this than you do to convert a 33, 34-yard field goal.
Must stop here for San Diego. Chicago. Taplin going to roll to his left side, throwing on the run. Has a man at the seam, first down. That's Brandon Ruffin on the catch, and they'll move the sticks for Chicago.
Brandon Ruffin loves that left sideline right there. That's the first time we've seen them go to him. That was not a deep shot. But Tapling, again, a design quarterback rollout to the left. He had Pascasio in front of him as a blocker. Looked initially as they were lining up, I thought that might be an option play, but they were passing it all the way. And a big first down right there. 1st and goal on the 4 for Chicago.
Boy, the backfield is stacked. They're going to the big fella, and he rumbles his way down to the 1-yard line. Let's see who that was. Was that Wheeling? Was that Rick Richardson on a Wheeling?
I thought I saw 48, which is Rick Richardson. It was indeed Rick Richardson, the middle linebacker from Wheeling PD, 2-time defensive MVP, getting the carry right there. Love it.
They're going to go quick. Pascasio into the end zone. Touchdown, Chicago.
Bryant Pascasio, speedy as he's known, into the end zone there off the right guard. Seemed like a matter of time before he made it into the red and black end zones here at North Central College today with how explosive he's looked on the field, Mike, and that'll make it 23. 23-7 is on the board right now. It should be 27-7, and yes, now that's corrected. 20 points, and with the chance to make it 21 and a full 3-touchdown and 3 extra point lead right here.
Boy, Chicago with a nice gut check on 4th and goal. They went for it, picked up the first down, and now cash in. All off that special teams blocked field goal attempt. Leads them to a score. Lenti's point after, and that one didn't make it. Low snap. And it remains 27-7 Chicago over San Diego. You're watching the NPSFL.
Served others.
He was an incredible husband, father, NYPD officer, and FDNY firefighter.
At age 26, Tom worked at Ground Zero in the rescue and recovery efforts following the attacks of 9/11.
Throughout his courageous battle against World Trade Center cancer, Tom deeply appreciated the care provided for him and his family, including the FDNY's Family Assistance Unit.
One of the TO Foundation's first initiatives is to purchase a family assistance van to help ease the burden for other firefighters and their families when facing an illness.
Together, we will honor Tom by helping first responders and their families in their hour of need. Please visit tofamilyfoundation.org today.
Ever wonder who helps our everyday heroes when they need support? Enter fundthefirst.com, a unique crowdfunding platform dedicated to first responders, their families, and their friends. Unlike typical sites, we don't take a cut. Every dollar goes directly to those in need. Whether it's for emergency medical bills, family emergencies, or equipment, fundthefirst.com is there. It's our chance to give back to those who risk it all for us. From police officers to firefighters, these heroes deserve our support. Want to make a real impact? Check out fundthefirst.com and show our heroes that we've got their backs. It's time to support those who always support us.
Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Since 9/11, we have been helping Americans' heroes by providing mortgage-free homes to Gold Star and fallen first responder families. We are also committed to eradicating veteran homelessness and helping America to never forget September 11th, 2001. Visit t2t.org for more information or to make your donation today.
Kevin Novick with a short return right there will set up San Diego from the 23, Mike.
And they'll run it on the ground to the fullback. And he bounces his way across the 30, still chugging forward, close to a San Diego first down.
Yeah, Steven Swikowski with some powerful running right there, right up the gut. San Diego's in a bit of a bind right here, trailing by 3 scores, 1:45 to go in the third quarter. They've had a great running game all afternoon and really all season with Steven Swikowski, but they're going to have to mix in a lot more air yards right here over the next 16 and a half minutes. That's much more going to be on the arm of Matthew Deans to help bring San Diego back here.
Deans will keep it on the ground, straight ahead again. Bowling his way forward, 45, midfield, and still going down to the Chicago 48-yard line.
Now, of course, what I said there is a little less true if you can average 13 yards a carry, but I don't think we can totally count on that. Another just bulldog run by Swikowski up the middle there. And just like that, San Diego in Chicago territory.
Man, has he had a football game this afternoon. First down for San Diego, inside of a minute to go here in the third. Deans will stay in the gun as he did back on the ground. This time Chicago able to stuff the hole.
Yeah, that's Kenneth Brink on the interior of the defensive line, Chicago police officer with the tackle for loss. And Swikowski up there, up the gut, trying to find the A-gap. There was no gap at all. He ran right into the arms of Kenneth Brink. Loss of 1 on the play. So we were talking to the coaches before the game, Mike, and aside from all the many wonderful things about this league, you have first responders playing football, but they like to get out there and deliver some hits too as well. This is their chance to do that, and Kenneth Brink's going to remember that one for a while.
That's the end of the third quarter. Chicago with the lead, 27-7. This is the NPSFL.
Our mission is providing that support, advocacy, and awareness for organ donation. Be a forever hero, donate life is the message we want to get out there.
As an FDNY firefighter, he was a hero in life. As an organ donor, Billy Moon, also a hero in death.
FDNY firefighter Billy Moon's heart was successfully transplanted into 63-year-old Richard Grell last December.
And as his widow Christina processed her heartbreak and her grief, she fulfilled a promise that was made to her husband and donated his organs so others could live. 5 lives were saved in the process.
There are around 103,000 people waiting for a transplant across the country. One person can save 8 lives and improve up to 75 more.
At the Gary Sinise Foundation, we serve our nation by honoring our defenders, veterans, first responders, their families, and those in need. We create and support unique programs designed to entertain, educate, inspire, strengthen, and build communities. Visit GarySinisFoundation.org to learn more and how you can contribute to our mission. Start of the fourth quarter now. Screen out, looks like it's going nowhere. Chicago with the big stop.
Boy, that's a great job right there by number 40, Darrell, to stick with the tackle right there. It looked like he basically had him by the jersey, and that was all he had. But just an outstanding tackle. Second consecutive tackle for loss now brings up 3rd and 14.
Yeah, 3rd down and long here for San Diego, down 20. Way Chicago flexing their muscle again, showing why they're undefeated here in the NPSFL. Here's a launching rainbow down the near sideline, incomplete. Good coverage on the play.
Yeah, Cook County Sheriff's Office member Craig Maddox right there had it all the way. He was really in much better position to make that catch. It's one of those situations where you really end up with the wide receiver playing a little bit of defense right there, breaking up the interception. But really no choice for San Diego but to punt this away and hope they can get a quick stop or a turnover.
Hey, for all the news, rosters, standings, scores from around the NPSFL, visit NPSFL.org. San Diego set to punt it away. Yeah, 4th and a good country mile here, so let's see if they actually kick it. They do. They punt it away. And Ruffin going to let it bounce. And now going to pick it up. And he's wrapped up and dropped. This is the NPSFL.
Our mission is providing that support, advocacy, and awareness for organ donation. Be a forever hero, donate life is the message we want to get out there.
As an FDNY firefighter, he was a hero in life. As an organ donor, Billy Moon, also a hero in death.
FDNY firefighter Billy Moon's heart was successfully transplanted into 63-year-old Richard Grell last December.
And as his widow Christina processed her heartbreak and her grief, she fulfilled a promise that was made to her husband and donated his organs so others could live. 5 lives were saved in the process.
There are around 103,000 people waiting for a transplant across the country. One person can save 8 lives and improve up to 75 more.
Early fourth quarter, Chicago leading at 27-7. Mike Fraser joined by Tommy Gilbert up here in the booth. Anthony Collada, our on-the-field reporter, and our producer and engineer, Robert Williamson.
That was Ryan Robinson on the carry right there, and he was down when that first knee hit the turf, but he was really trying to crawl forward for a couple extra yards. A gutsy carry right there by Robinson. And this is a must-stop drive right here if you are defensive coordinator Casey Bondock and the San Diego Forcers defense. It's a 20-point game right now, and not only do you need to prevent Chicago from scoring, but you need to do it quickly here, Mike.
Time is of the essence. Chicago content just to run the football here and chew up that clock. Chicago has punched their ticket to the June 21st NPSFL championship game. They'll face the winner of the FDNY-NYPD game that'll go on tonight right here on Fox Nation. With special thanks to the folks at Fox Nation for not only streaming this afternoon's telecast, but also tonight's telecast and multiple games that they have streamed throughout the 2025 NPSFL football season.
Yeah, been a great partner to the NPSFL this year, Mike, and especially because you want to get this league more reach in particular. It means so much to so many people, and the more people who know it exists and can see it live week to week in the spring. Football hungry people in the spring for sure.
Deflected pass. Is it intercepted? I think so. I think San Diego picked up the loose change. Did they?
They sure did. That is number 27, Justin Garcia with the pick. That ball was deflected. Looked like it bounced off at least 2 blue shirts and 1 white one. But Justin Garcia, the safety, right here, we'll see. Looked like it was tipped at the line, then off of the wide receiver's chest. 1, 2 more hops, and right into the arms of Justin Garcia of the CDCR. And right there, that is the kind of play. I hesitate to say explosive defensive play. There's a lot of good fortune that went into that particular one, but that's what San Diego needed. They needed a break right here, and boy, did they just get it.
They'll start this drive inside the red zone. Remember, for all NPSFL action, folks, head to npsfl.org. Might stick around and watch that one tonight in New York. A very meaningful football game in the Big Apple.
If it lives up to the quality of this game, it'll be a real fun one to watch.
Deans to throw. He needs points in a hurry. Over the middle, deflected and incomplete. Good coverage on the play.
And we have a very late flag coming in, Mike. Some contact well after the play was broken up in the secondary. There's number 21, Jesse Morris, the cornerback, on the deflection, diving with his hand outstretched. I did not see what happened in the end zone other than there was quite a bit of contact, a little bit of extracurricular activity. I'll show it to you here right now. And that's when that flag came in, probably about 5 to 7 seconds after the play had been blown dead.
Let's go down on the field to our guy, Anthony Collada. Anthony, what's the mood down there? What's the feel?
Yeah, a lot of positivity from the Chicago sideline, really controlling the clock, controlling the game here, really relying on that defense, keeping San Diego to just 7 points. It's what we talked about at the very beginning of this game. Chicago going to rely on that defense, control the clock offensively. They've made big plays running and through the air, so Chicago just looking to kind of wear down these last 12 minutes.
That is an absolute gut punch right there on that flag. 2nd and 25 now. This drive started in the red zone. They're out to the 34.
They're going to run it to the near side, and Chicago able to pursue that play nicely. Boy, a couple of guys out there.
Yeah, it looked like that was the middle linebacker, Rick Richardson, on the stop. He was at least in the mix. Chris Calvert on the carry. He's been involved in just about everything San Diego's done on offense so far. But Richardson held a minimal game right there. Richardson, the middle linebacker, been at least a significant part of the heart and soul of the Chicago defense for quite some time now.
From the Chicago 33 off the interception, it's now 3rd down and 24.
And this, of course, clearly 4-down territory, but even so, your playbook for 3rd and 24 is fairly limited.
And they launch this one into tight coverage, and it's intercepted by Chicago.
I think that's Jonathan Bell from the Cook County Sheriff down the sideline. That was a bit of a prayer lofted up. He was looking for Anthony Ducray, U.S. Customs officer, but into double coverage. And again, when you talk about that penalty right there, that's the kind of position it puts you in. That's not really a throw Matthew Dean wants to make, but Deans knows he's up against it in terms of the clock and the score, and you got to throw up a prayer and hope you can make something happen.
Let's go downstairs to Anthony Collada. Anthony, you were right there on that interception. What did you see?
Yeah, there was a couple of routes, one down the sideline and one across the middle. The post across the middle looked to be a little bit open. Quarterback decided to come down the sideline into double coverage. Defender was right there to pick it off. And then after that late hit, there's been some chippiness going on here. So a lot of fired up people screaming and yelling over here on this sideline. So worth watching the rest of this game.
11:20 to go here in the fourth. Chicago comfortably ahead here, 27-7. And you would think the game plan here is going to be just run the football and chew up that clock.
Yeah, we saw Ryan Robinson of the Chicago Fire Department take a couple carries on the last drive. It looks like Pascasio, the starting back, is back in there now.
He'll scamper his way out of bounds around the 23-yard line. Yeah, Chicago here, you just want to hang on to the football.
Absolutely, and 0 for 1 in that regard on their last drive, Mike, but playing it safe here, certainly the play, you've got a 20-point lead, and, most importantly, as we've talked about throughout the telecast, but just in case you've turned in recently, Chicago is headed to the NPSFL championship game on June 21st, no matter what. You obviously want to win this game. You want to get your 4-0 season and go for 5-0 at the championship game, but they know at the very least, should the worst happen here over these next 10.5 minutes, which seems unlikely, they have a berth in the title game.
Pressure for San Diego, and they drop them. Well, you mentioned also, you talk about wrapping up Brian Salmon. I know Anthony spoke to him earlier today. Here's a man that just won football games, 58-16, been around this program since 1998.
Yeah, in 2013, he was inducted into both the San Diego Ring of Honor and the Enforcers Hall of Champions. There's every sports organization around the country, you can kind of pick one or two guys who really define that organization. And for so long, that has been Brian Salmon and will continue to be. As we mentioned back in the first quarter, he will stay involved with the board. He loves football more than just about anyone you've ever met when you talk to him. We had a great chance to chat with him a couple times before the game. Just a wonderful man and a true passion for this game and for this team.
And that one batted down and incomplete. Bring up third down and long.
And I think that was Andrew Funk, number 99, once again on the bat. Either that or Joseph Pellegrini. We'll take a look here. But Andrew Funk, either way, had the tackle for loss a moment ago. That San Diego defense right now, I mean, they're pulling their weight here in the fourth quarter. They're trying their very best to get their offense back on the field and able to pull out a comeback victory for Coach Salmon in his last game.
It was a down year for San Diego this year. They're coming off a 5-0 campaign last year where they could not get into the NPSFL National Championship game over a coin flip. That's how tight and how competitive these divisions and these conferences are. Tapling going to throw. Has a man underneath with room. 35-40, 45, and a first down for Chicago.
Yeah, and a great play right there by Andrew Pena. A little bit of a defensive mix-up there in the secondary for San Diego. Pena found himself all alone on an island with about 8 yards separating him from the nearest defenders. And a big gain right there on 3rd and 14.
But Tapling having a nice game, able to find a couple of guys in the back of the end zone and take what the defense gives you underneath. And not only is it a first down, but it tilts the field now close to midfield for Chicago. And that clock continues to chew. Under 9 to go. And Chicago comfortably ahead by 20. And Pascasio wrapped up and dropped in the backfield. That'll be a loss of 3 on the play.
Yeah, and when you look at Adam Tapling in the game he's had, he's done an outstanding job, Mike, managing this game. And sometimes you hear that term game manager, it implies they haven't made a lot of big plays. That is definitely not the case for Tapling today. He's done a great job meshing some deep shots, some really accurately thrown balls 20, 30 yards down the field with an outstanding knack for, okay, where do I need to go if my first read isn't open? Very, very few mistakes by Tapling. Really just the one ball, the only 2 balls he's thrown into danger were tipped at the line.
Big hole here, Pascasio, first down across midfield, down to the San Diego 45.
And he might get spotted a yard short. I thought he might have had it too at first, but a 14-yard run on 2nd and 15 will bring up 3rd and 1 here. San Diego's been so close a couple times on a 2nd or 3rd and long to stopping this drive, but suddenly now Chicago on San Diego's side of the field, and the clock is ticking down towards the 7:30 mark.
Chicago in control. They are poised to finish the regular season at 4-0. On the ground again, there's Pascasio, and again, a good chunk of yardage on 3rd and 1, plenty for a first down. Chicago won their first title and only title back in 2011.
Yeah, it was a Division II championship for Chicago PD back in 2011. They've played in one Division I championship game as well back in 2018, where they fell 16-0 to the NYPD Finest. We said looking to wrap up their first undefeated season, at least undefeated regular season here since 2021.
Just what's so remarkable about this league and the respect that it commands is, players do not get paid for this. They run the ball for a couple. They do this for the pure enjoyment and for the love of the game. I mean, these are first responders playing football. The grind these players endure in addition to regular work, family schedules. I mean, you have to really tip your cap to everybody across the country in the NPSFL.
There's no question about that, and that's why it's it's so nice to have your season finale like this played on a beautiful day in a beautiful stadium in front of a great crowd. I mean, the Chicago PD fans are out in force today. They've made their voices heard since the kickoff.
Down to 6 minutes to go in the 4th. Chicago up comfortably. On the ground, they're going to run it, bouncing to the outside. And wrestled down around the San Diego 35-yard line.
Yeah, that's Ryan Robinson again, who's been the change of pace back here in the 4th quarter for Chicago. Done a nice job being able to spell Bryant Pascasio when Speedy needs a little break down there.
Back to the NPSFL and just the league itself, it's open to all public safety agencies across the United States. All teams that compete in the NPSFL must have rosters of full-time police officers, firefighters, EMTs, military firefighters, medics, police corrections officers, or any other full-time first responder. That is the only way they can qualify for a roster slot on any one of these teams around the country. Pass completed here, and Chicago marching toward the red zone once again.
Yeah, there's no ringers here, Mike, as Keith Jones makes that catch. It is all public safety officials, and again, there's no city or agency fund that supports this. These teams can only able to compete in the support of those who fundraise. If anyone out there is interested in contributing to a specific team or the NPSFL as a whole, or if you'd like to advertise with the NPSFL, please send a DM on Instagram or email npsfl.network@gmail.com. npsfl.network@gmail.com.
Winding down here in Naperville, Chicago just content to chew the clock out. Marker down as Pascasio gets dropped for a loss, but this will be coming back.
Yeah, I think we might get a hold there, Mike. Pascasio trying to find some space, and there were 3 flags down on the field, so we'll see if we may possibly have offsetting penalties. We'll get the call here in just a second. It does not look like they'll offset. It does look like it's either one holding foul or multiple against Chicago.
Chicago started this drive back inside their 15-yard line. Chicago will play June 21st for the NPSFL Championship. Where? We don't know. We'll find out tonight. That's why you got to stay tuned to Fox Nation for tonight's game between NYPD and FDNY. Winner will determine where Chicago goes. Back on the ground. Ball is lost. It's loose. And it looks like Chicago recovered. Taking Vegas. If you're serious about winning some money, stop what you are doing and head to takingvegas.com. Their free play record this year is 22-12, and right now they are offering 7 free days of their top play services for our NPSFL network audience. Winning is great, but taking Vegas is legendary. Visit takingvegas.com to start winning today.
It looked like Harry Chalesky, the reserve offensive lineman, came in. He's been playing left guard here in the fourth quarter, and he came in and made a flying attempt to recover that ball successfully. And great play right there by Chalesky, assuming that was him who got his hand on the ball inside.
Getting close to start determining who our MVP of the game is, Tommy. Tapling to throw with time. Headed to the end zone, and it is incomplete. Great effort.
Yeah, good pressure up the middle right there on Tapling. Had to get rid of that ball maybe a fraction of a second before he wanted to. And nice coverage down the field as well there for San Diego. It looks like Ed Zubo. Zubo's been all over the field this evening, and it's tricky sometimes you have an outside linebacker lined up on a wide receiver, but it was actually Trey Mosley down there. Okay, so Trey Mosley in the secondary with the nice coverage in the end zone.
Boy, this drive, a long one for Chicago. It's 4th down. Fourth down and about 13. Pressure coming, and Tapling going to let it go, and it's incomplete. Turnover on downs. Late marker in. We'll take a break. 27-7 Chicago. This is the NPSFL.
Tom Olkers served others.
He was an incredible husband, father, NYPD officer, and FDNY firefighter.
At age 26, Tom worked at Ground Zero in the rescue and recovery efforts following the attacks of 9/11.
Throughout his courageous battle against World Trade Center cancer, Tom deeply appreciated the care provided for him and his family, including the FDNY's Family Assistance Unit.
One of the TO Foundation's first initiatives is to purchase a family assistance van to help ease the burden for other firefighters and their families when facing an illness.
Together, we will honor Tom by helping first responders and their families in their hour of need. Please visit tofamilyfoundation.org today.
Frequently either stop looking for signs of hope and praying for a swift end to our agonizing pain. As one who has walked down this road, I can honestly say that nothing I have ever done has given me more hope, more relief, or renew my courage like my relationship to ECAN, especially the reception of my new best friend, Dozer.
And we are back here at North Central College, the NPSFL, San Diego and Chicago, down on the field to Anthony Collada.
Sorry about that, Mike. Yeah, so I was speaking, you guys talking about the love of the game, and one of these guys out here for Chicago, Ty Sonny Sampson. So a couple years ago, he used to play over for San Diego, and then his wife got relocated for work to Minnesota. So when he made that move up here, he tried out for the Minnesota Arena Football League, made it to the final day of cuts, and then ended up making the team, and now he's one of the star players on that Arena football team. But the craziest thing about it is he had a game yesterday afternoon that he played in. full game played in there, got to the airport, flew in this morning at about 6:30. Jason Sullivan, who we talked to, picked him up at the airport at 9:30 this morning for him to play in this game today. So you talk about doing this for the love of the game, not getting paid to do it. Man, Ty Sonny Sampson, he's 101 out here.
That's a great story, great insight, and that's just a microcosm of the sacrifice that a lot of these players around the NPSFL make to play football. Again, these guys out here today are not paid. They're not paid for the season. They generally get about 1 week of practice throughout the course of the season. And then after the game, Chicago will head to the hotel where San Diego is staying, and they'll go out and have some great fellowship and break bread together and talk about life, the job, and the league, and make some great friends around. You heard Jason Sullivan earlier, the former president of San Diego, go out and say, man, this is so much more than just playing football 5 or 6 times a year. So really is impressive what these people have accomplished and what the NPSFL is all about.
Yeah, and even adding to that, Mike, Samson Ty, a Border Patrol agent, plays arena football, plays for the San Diego, or the Chicago PD Enforcers rather, and played football at Wayne State, got his bachelor's in sociology, and he's also enrolled in a master's program. So you've got your graduate school, you've got 2 different football leagues, and you've got your career in the Border Patrol. It is really, really impressive what these guys do to play in this league and how much it means to them.
So 2 minutes to go in this one. Chicago going to move to 4-0 on the season, and they're going to play on June 21st for the NPSFL Championship. Be sure to go to the npsfl.org to gain all your information about the league, rosters, teams, the history. They've been doing this since 1998. That's npsfl.org. So San Diego looking to try to find pay dirt for the second time as they wind down their season. Pass caught inside the 30 and down to the Chicago 19-yard line.
And this is one of those times, as Joaquin Jordan pulls that one in for San Diego, that you want to maybe play a little bit less aggressive on defense for Chicago than they're used to playing all afternoon. Very aggressive team defensively in general under Aaron Chappell, the defensive coordinator. But time to back off a little bit, make sure you don't give up a big play over the top.
San Diego to the air means that the catch made. They give it to him at the 1-yard line. What fingertips as he pulls this one up at the 1-yard line.
Boy,
great concentration.
That's just a great grab right there by Larry Roberts, who's been all over the place today. He had the touchdown catch in the early part of the second quarter that remains San Diego's only score. Roberts very nearly had another one there. He was able to, he was almost sitting down, reach in front of him and make that grab.
A minute to go in the game, 27-7 Chicago. You're watching the NPSFL. Back here in Naperville, a minute to go. San Diego barking on the door here, banging on the door, trying to get in since it was 14-0. It's now 27-7 Chicago. They'll run it on the ground. And that Chicago defense able to make the stop.
Yeah, defensive end Carlin Ento on the inside right there ran right into Steven Swikowski.
Well, I think we're set up here on our MVP. What do you? I'm thinking Trent Yancey, Tommy. How about yourself?
I don't think I can disagree with you there. Yancey made a huge impact on offense today for Chicago. Of course, had the touchdown catch toward the end of the first half, but has been all over the place all day.
Timeout on the field. This is the NPSFL.
Frequently either stop looking for signs of hope and praying for a swift end to our agonizing pain. As one who has walked down this road, I can honestly say that nothing I have ever done has given me more hope, more relief, or renew my courage like my relationship to ECAN, especially the reception of my new best friend, Dozer.
So how many saw Forrest Gump? Well, I'm Gary Sinise, and I play Lieutenant Dan.
Hello, I'm Gary Sinise, and while you may recognize me from movies or television, my life's mission has been to honor and support our nation's veterans, servicemen and women, first responders, our most severely wounded heroes, the families of our fallen, and those suffering from the invisible wounds of war.
I appreciate everything that you do for our troops.
Thank you for what you do for these veterans.
What you do for the soldiers, God bless you.
I lost my dad.
I know, and we want to show you that we don't forget your dad.
It's meaningful.
Yeah.
Because I didn't expect any of this, I was just happy to be alive. So when everyone showed their love and support, it's overwhelming.
Please join me to help us help our defenders who keep us safe and our communities strong. Donate today at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
San Diego trying to get into the end zone for the second time this afternoon here in the final minute. Rolling, throwing to the end zone, incomplete. Deans flush to his right.
Yeah, and he's done a nice job all day, Mike, throwing on the run, but that particular time the Chicago secondary just a little bit too much back there. 3rd and goal on the 2 as San Diego tries to punch this one in for one final score in the very decorated coaching career of Brian Salmon.
On the ground, they go up the middle, touchdown. Touchdown, San Diego. Well, they punch it in.
Looked like it was Steven Swikowski right there on the carry, Mike, in the A-gap. Swikowski has made such an impact on the ground for San Diego today. Puts the San Diego Enforcers in double digits for the first time this season. It'll be too little too late to win the game, but that feels good for San Diego that they're able to punch it in. And they are going to go for 2 here, try to make it a 27-15 game.
Dean's rolling. To the back of the end zone. Is it caught? No. 2-point conversion goes awry. It remains 27-13. This is the NPSFL.
Firefighters Heart and Lung Institute is a medical center for firefighters, designed by firefighters. As a leading provider of advanced medical screenings, we take pride in offering the best healthcare experience for firefighters and first responders. Since 2002, the New York Firefighters Heart and Lung Institute has been dedicated to screening, diagnosing, and treating first responders and their families each and every day. We provide a broad range of testing and medical care, including cardiac and pulmonary testing, as well as educational seminars focused on firefighter safety throughout the USA and Canada. We are proud to have recently entered into a partnership with the Uniformed Firefighters Association to encourage all firefighters to come in and get tested. New York State awarded a grant to the UFA for testing and cancer screening, and they have partnered with the New York Firefighters Heart and Lung Institute to provide certain services at no cost to the individual. Check out fdnyheart.com or call 516-441-7614 to schedule an individual or group firehouse visit today.
That's Anthony Collada. Cullota.
That's the reporter.
Yeah. Back here in the Chicagoland area, Naperville is where we're at, North Central College. Chicago going to move to 4-0 on the season. When the sun came up this morning, they were booked and punched their ticket already to the NPSFL championship game.
Yeah.
They'll head there undefeated.
And Mike, you know, they were already in no matter what, but boy, it's got to feel really good to come out on this beautiful Saturday at the end of May and put together a pretty convincing victory in front of their home fans right here. We'll have a flag on the kickoff.
And a lot of history with Chicago. Former head coach John Curry from 1999 to 2021, one of the 3 founding fathers of the Chicago PD Enforcers. Curry was involved with the organization for 19 years. You know, another guy is also Jim Aide, the head coach for the Enforcers of Chicago from 99 to 2009.
Yeah, and Jim Aide, another one of those founding fathers. He served as the first head coach and is credited as the driving force between really gaining interest and momentum in building the team's roster. Coached the first 5 seasons and played in 1, and just very grateful to the Enforcers for his 11 years of dedication to the organization that helped pave the way to make this team what it is today.
You'd also be remiss if you didn't talk about Tim Kaczynski, coach administrator for the Chicago PD Enforcers. Been around this team since 1999. Was involved in the original planning and development of the Enforcers. You know, then Tim went on to coach and mentor many individuals that came through the program. In the early years, he wore many hats. I mean, merchandise coordinator, team travel coordinator, defensive coordinator, board member. I mean, I think he sold programs, too, out of every home and away game. I mean, Tim has been around for a long time, terrific guy, former Chicago PD detective, our kind of guy. So that's just a look at some of the talented coaches on both sides of the roster. Well, the horn sounds and Chicago wins it 27-13. They move to 4-0. They now await the winner of NYPD and FDNY. And you go undefeated in anything, Tommy, you're special.
It's pretty great in a 4-0 season for Chicago PD. They wrap up their first undefeated season since 2021 in the regular season, but they're going to try to make that 5-0 and take their first ever Division I championship. They did play in the championship game back in 2018 when they fell to the NYPD finest 16-0. It could be they're looking for some revenge there, or it could be they get a rematch with the FDNY team. Either way, Mike, that 21st game should be a whole lot of fun.
And that NPSFL championship game is slated for June 21st. Site and location, or site and team to be determined. Chicago 4-0 on the year. San Diego closes up shop at 1-3 on the season. And then tonight on Fox Nation, on the NPSFL network, FDNY taking on NYPD. And they'll play for the rights to play Chicago for the NPSFL championship. We'll step aside and come back and talk to our player of the game. This is the NPSFL.
So how many saw Forrest Gump? Well, I'm Gary Sinise, and I played Lieutenant Dan.
Hello, I'm Gary Sinise, and while you may recognize me from movies or television, my life's mission has been to honor and support our nation's veterans, servicemen and women, first responders, our most severely wounded heroes, the families of our fallen, and those suffering from the invisible wounds of war.
I appreciate everything that you do for our troops.
Thank you for what you do for these veterans.
What you do for the soldiers, God bless you.
I lost my dad.
I know. And we want to show you that we don't forget your dad.
It's meaningful.
Yeah.
Because I didn't expect any of this, I was just happy to be alive. So when everyone showed their love and support, it's overwhelming.
Please join me to help us help our defenders who keep us safe and our communities strong. Donate today at GarySineseFoundation.org.
2 decades, Rigging NYC Contractors, Inc. has been the go-to provider of rigging services in New York City. Specializing in construction and industrial rigging, as well as machinery moving, we are dedicated to delivering safe and timely solutions. Our team consists of licensed master riggers, operating engineers, Teamster drivers, steam fitters, and iron workers. No matter the industrial or construction application, we have the lifting solution for you. In addition to rigging services, we offer specialized trucking services to handle equipment and materials. Our fleet of tractor trailers and experienced drivers make us the premier choice for New York trucking, including oversized freight and heavy loads. When it comes to rigging, trust the experts, the licensed master riggers at Rigging NYC Contractors. Contact us today for more information and let us make your next project a resounding success.
Our mission is providing that support, advocacy, and awareness for organ donation. Be a forever hero, donate life is the message we want to get out there.
As an FDNY firefighter, he was a hero in life. As an organ donor, Billy Moon, also a hero in death.
FDNY firefighter Billy Moon's heart was successfully transplanted into 63-year-old Richard Grell last December.
And as his widow, Christina, processed her heartbreak and her grief, she fulfilled a promise that was made to her husband and donated his organs so others could live. 5 lives were saved in the process.
There are around 103,000 people waiting for a transplant across the country. One person can save 8 lives and improve up to 75 more.
And we're back here at North Central College, where Chicago moves to 4-0 on the season. They are on their way to the NPSFL National Championship game on June the 21st. They'll face the winner of the FDNY versus NYPD game that will be played tonight in New York. Whoever wins that will face Chicago on June the 21st. For all information regarding the NPSFL, you can go to NPSFL.org. And a special thanks as well to Fox Sports Nation for partnering with the NPSFL and putting together, help promote what is a really affectionate, incredible, talented, and just a terrific bunch of human beings that play football here in the NPSFL.
Yeah, it certainly is. We got to talk a lot about Brian Salmon today, San Diego's head coach, retiring with a fine record of 58-17. He's been their head coach since 1998. So much great history in both these organizations. And, Coach Salmon, we want to congratulate him once again on an outstanding run and wish him all the best in the future as he continues to stay heavily involved with the San Diego Enforcers organization.
And down on the field to Anthony Collada.
I'm here.
Our player of the game.
Yes, I'm here with our MVP, Trent Yancey. Trent, phenomenal game for you out here. Touchdown catch in the right corner. Big game for the offense. Kind of tell me what it means for you to make that go undefeated this season.
It means everything. We put in a lot of work, a lot of practice, a lot of attention to detail, extra days, going off script with practice, over communicating, a lot of film. It was a lot of effort, and we put it together, and we got to do it one more time.
Yeah, a quick start for you guys. Looked like you might run away with it a little bit. Some confusion maybe in the first half. You guys seem to kind of get through it. Kind of explain how the game went for you.
Well, we're without our offensive coordinator this week, but, we did it, coaching by committee. We had a few guys that, adding a little extra input, but we got it figured out. We settled down, and we just played our game. We did the best we could.
For sure. So you were telling me that this is only your second season here in this league. What is all right? And we're losing him for a team meeting. It looks like. Trent, final words for the championship next week.
Go Enforcers. Let's keep working hard. We're gonna bring it home to Chicago, and we're gonna put forth a lot of effort. And let's go.
Awesome. I appreciate it, Trent. Best of luck to you. Back up to you, Mike and Tommy.
Anthony, great job down there. That's Anthony Collada, our field reporter, and Chicago going to the championship game now. We knew that when the sun came up today, but they're going there as an undefeated team.
They are, and they really left no doubt of how strong this team and how strong this roster's looked all season. You never want to be going into a championship game like that, coming off 7 weeks since a win, which is what it would have been if they hadn't pulled this out today. Instead, Chicago can ride all the momentum in the world of what was at many times a dominant victory today here at North Central, riding a 27-13 victory right into the title game. Again, they don't know their opponent yet. But, Mike, this was a really well-played and really fun and entertaining football game today.
Chicago wins it 27-13. They'll play June 21st for the NPSFL championship game. You look at some of the great players that have come through here as well. Look for San Diego, Jason Burke, a linebacker who played from 2007 to 2018.
Yeah, considered by many to be one of the best defensive players in the history of the NPSFL. The Enforcers' all-time leader in both tackles and sacks. He was a teammate for a long time of Alfonso Ash as well, the all-time leader in pass breakups and ranks third in interceptions. An incredible stat, he allowed only 2 touchdowns in 9 years at cornerback, and that defines a shutdown corner right there, Mike.
And you're right, it does. And Chicago has terrific talent in their own right. Good quarterback. Brandon Ruffin, another one. You see Yancey step up today. It was just a terrific team effort by Chicago. They are 4-0. They will play on June 21st for the NPSFL championship against one of the New York teams, either NYPD or FDNY. Well, Tommy, it was a great afternoon here. Chicago posing for their team picture. Now they're headed back to a championship, trying to get one for the first time since 2011. Final thoughts?
My final thoughts are that if Chicago brings the game that they showed today, just balanced on both offense and defense, an outstanding game from Adam Tapling at quarterback and Bryant Pascasio carrying the load on the ground, I think as much as the New York teams have dominated the championship game for the most of the last decade, I think Chicago's going to be really tough.
For Anthony Collada, our field reporter, for Tommy Gilbert, our color analyst, Robert Williamson, our producer and engineer, this is Mike Fraser saying so long from Naperville, Illinois, on the campus of North Central College, where the Chicago Enforcers are on their way to the NPSFL 2025 championship game on June 21. They win today 27-13 over San Diego. So long, everybody.